on. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. What a rough day. What a rough set of hours we have had. President Trump now officially a convicted felon some 34 times over. Wow. 34 felonies for one guy. So what we're going to be asking, or better yet discussing, because I don't know how else to word this, is, folks, what is your take on what just happened in this country? This is obviously a moment in history that you cannot recall. Doesn't matter what the appeal, doesn't matter how this ultimately ends. Fact is, President Trump was convicted of 34 felonies, and that cannot be taken back. He can potentially win an appeal. Many folks believe he has a solid case for appeal. At the end of the day, the Supreme Court, whereas Trump has a 6-3 majority, is at the end of the road for this. So it's a really good chance that Trump will emerge victorious to some degree on appeal. In my opinion, he'll probably do well with the E. Jean Carroll case and the Letitia James case as well, because the Supreme Court is so skewed to the right. Nevertheless, we're talking about today. And as of now, he is a convicted felon 34 times over. So we're going to be asking right off the bat, does this change your opinion of President Trump at all? Would any of this shit change your opinion of President Trump at all? Was he railroaded? Was he an innocent guy from the start and just did not get a fair shake in the courts? And last but not least, July 11th, by the way, yeah, Novocaine with the hat and mustache. Thank you very much. Last but not least, the sentencing date, the date Trump will be sentenced, is on July 11th. I want to ask you folks right off the bat, he has no priors. He has no criminal history, but he now has 34 felonies. That's a lot. Do you think, or do you believe he will get any type of jail time, any type of incarceration at all? And in addition to how you think, should he get jail time? What is your opinion on all of this? That's what we're going to be discussing today. As always, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. MAGA is my preferred guest. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. I understand a lot of MAGA are probably going to be angry today. We can discuss that. But how about the folks who would point to the fact that Trump has been able to raise a hell of a lot of money off of this, to the point where his own website went down, and for folks suggesting that this is only strengthening him? What say you? We're going to talk about that in the comments as well. So looking in the comments, by the way, and thank you, 500 plus of you already here. So tap the screen, get the likes up to around 10,000. It helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA, and we'll start it out. Why would we be mad? You guys just played our hand. I don't quite get that comment. Tim Moore, why would you be mad? We played your hand. You said you guys just played your hand. Who qualifies as you guys? MAGA have been crying since yesterday, and it's awesome to behold, says Victor McKindy. So you're actually celebrating Trump's conviction. Wow. All right. This is a divided time we're in, folks. A lot of folks are happy. Some folks are pissed. Other folks are galvanized and angry about it. But this is the times we live in. Every president has done some shit. Now, that came in the comments from James. Here's what up. Before I'll go right to the box, but I just want to point this out. You say that every president has done some shit. Likely true. We can talk about maybe Trump went above and beyond what qualifies as shit. We can agree and disagree on that. But here's the issue I have to bring up. Trump was elected because we were tired of typical politicians. We didn't want an insider. We wanted somebody who was unlike what we've become accustomed to and no longer want. All of a sudden, Trump starts being found guilty of doing things, saying the wrong things, and we're constantly bringing up, well, all the rest of them did it too. Wasn't he supposed to be different? Why are we constantly comparing him to people that he was not supposed to be like? And constantly saying, well, they do it too. He wasn't supposed to be part of they. to use the proper pronoun. He was supposed to be different. But now all of a sudden, everything he's been caught up with is, well, Obama was separating kids and families. Bill Clinton cheated on his wife. He was supposed to be different. You're really making him sound like he's just more politics in Washington. Let me know where I'm getting it wrong. Look it in the comments, though. The look of, hey, the millions of people who succeeded and failed, but they say is the blueprint to, I don't quite get that, Mitchell, going straight to the box. The one and only DJ, DJ Julio. Good afternoon. I saw Pat Carlson and DJ Julio.
Nah, man, this ain't DJ
Oh, this is Moo, the Tuxedo Cat.
Nah. If anything, this is the antithesis to DJ Julio.
So Trump is now a felon 34 times over. What say you?
I mean, I say that you had a fair trial with a jury of his peers, and they ruled that he's guilty as hell. I mean, listen, he already admitted to all these crimes on TV, man. I don't know why these people are surprised, right? Like, they had emails, they had phone calls, they had all kinds of evidence. And what you're going to hear is a lot of people come on here and gaslight you that they had no evidence and that, this will help Trump in the election. Bro, I don't know any independent voter who says to themselves, well, the dude's a convicted felon now I got to vote for this motherfucker here, right? So, again, we're not worried about MAGA. They're not a factor. Trump always has MAGA, okay? You just have to get more votes than there are MAGA, which is what happened last time. And it can happen again. It just depends on how many people, how many Democrats are upset enough with Joe Biden not to vote for him. You don't have independent voters coming over to MAGA like, yeah, I'm going to back up a felon now, right? That's not happening. What you have is people who are like, I'm so disparaged with the two people running right now that I'm just going to sit this one out.
Yeah. But he raised a lot of money, Moo. Does that not indicate anything at all?
So it's the same people that always send him fucking money. It's the morons you have in your chat, right? Who don't have any money, who bitch about inflation, who bitch about gas prices, who bitch about how much everything costs, and then they send this motherfucker their money every time he gets into shit. It's not new donors. It's not new clientele. What you need to be worried about is if you see Trump obtaining voters that he did not have before. That's not happening. This is like a coping mechanism for them, right? Like, nobody in the world is happy when they catch 34 felonies, my dude. I don't care who you are, all right? So you can cope to yourselves and gaslight yourselves and everybody else as much as you want into thinking that this is good for him. This isn't good for anybody. It doesn't matter if it's an ex-president, Bozo the Clown. It doesn't matter, man.
So no chance at all that this has grown his support?
No, my dude, it'll make his supporters more amped up because, of course, their guy just got 34 felonies. And now you can just call their guy a criminal, right? You can call Trump a criminal now. And, of course, they don't like that. And, of course, they're going to come up with listen, they've been gaslighting you for like 8 years now. Why would they stop at this, right? There's no reason for them to listen. MAGA is not for America. They don't believe in a trial by jury of your peers. They don't believe in the Constitution, right?
Wait. Why? I don't want to just let you say some wild shit. What's making you say that MAGA doesn't believe in the Constitution?
Sure. So when you support someone who says that they are going to use police against American citizens, right? And then when you ban abortion and you force women to carry government assets, you are against the Constitution because those items are in the Constitution. So you blatantly violate the Constitution left and right? The only amendment they truly care about is the second one, right? They don't give a shit about any other amendment because the Second Amendment allows them to keep their weapons and hunt down liberals. When they don't agree, they run their cars into them, right? Like they hurt them, right? Or they hurt themselves, right? Look at Ashley Babbitt, right? They took out one of their own. This dude didn't even care. So this is MAGA, man. They are backing a criminal. They are a violent movement. And you need to be careful because this dude needs to go to prison. And I don't care how they act up. If they act up, throw them in prison with him. You know what I mean? Because you got people who are willing to say, yeah, I'm going to vote for a criminal. So obviously you're okay with criminality, right? And the fact that you don't believe he's a criminal, you don't believe in the justice system, that just makes you a traitor to the country.
Yeah, but what about the claim?
Ridiculous, right?
What about the claim that they bumped up little bullshit misdemeanors, made them felonies just to go after Trump?
They're not misdemeanors, my dude. So what he did was, he also tried to, so you can even say at this point, right, that Trump rigged the election, right? Because what he did was he falsified business documents, right, in order to cover up his sexual encounter with a porn star so that it wouldn't get out and alter the results of the election, right? Now, what this dude should have realized at the time is that his supporters don't care about the immoral things that he does, right? So he actually didn't need to do any of this. Now, would he have beat Hillary Clinton? She had that thing that Comey put out there that ruined her chance, but she still got the popular vote, right?
Yeah.
So, either way, Trump probably still would have won. So the most ridiculous thing out of all this, right, the main stupid of it all, is that Trump didn't actually need to do any of this.
Let me interrupt you. Well, let me interrupt you and say this. Gen Xer, who's a friend of the program, is also says this clown, referring to you, sir. This clown is an admitted member of Antifa. I expect nothing less from him. Are you Antifa?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I'm anti-fascist. Absolutely, yeah. I fully endorse anti-fascism, dude. I'm totally against it in every way, right? I don't want a dictator. I don't want to have police in my neighborhoods beating me down, enforcing the law constantly. I don't want a fascist state. I don't want to have books removed that children need to educate themselves. I don't want to be in charge of women's bodies. I don't want to control them. I don't mind if women work. They should not just be in the home, right? They should do whatever they want to do. I'm not for the patriarchy. So no, I'm not fascist, dude. And if you're not fascist, you are by default Antifa. So this is just another one of their narratives, right? They're gaslighting people again, The idea of being Antifa just means you're against fascism, my dude. So if you're not Antifa, that means you're pro-fascism. You want a dictator. You want to control women. You believe in the patriarchy. You use minorities as your enemy. You're a fascist if you're not Antifa.
Well, you don't believe that MAGA uses minorities as their enemy, do you?
I believe that MAGA uses minorities as their enemy, and the ones who are foolish enough to side with them, they use them to promote their propaganda, and they're like, oh, look, here's a black person that supports us, so therefore all black people support us, right? Or they pay minorities to help them out, right? Like, you just had that one intern from the RNC that hugged Donald Trump at that fast food restaurant. Again, she was a paid RNC intern, and later that night was on Fox News spouting her agenda for the RNC. So, this is what you get with fascism. You get gaslighting.
But I'm going to ask you the same.
You get AI pictures of Trump in neighborhoods with people he would never hang out with, right? Because Trump is an elitist. He is not a common man, right? Like, MAGA tries to paint Trump as a common man. He's not a common man. He was born into money. He's always been wealthy. He went to schools that none of you would even be allowed to walk on the campus of, right? He hangs out with
Let me interrupt you, because you got a lot to say about Trump. Did the man do any damn thing good for the country at all?
Fuck no.
Oh, come on.
There's nothing that Trump did that significantly that another president wouldn't have done, right? Like, any president is going to give money to black colleges. You would be insane to sit there in your presidential office and deny black colleges funds, right? You're not going to win an election that way. I don't care whether you're a Democrat. I don't care whether you're a Republican. So you can sit here and brag about common shit. And I want to see an infrastructure bill that's worth trillions of dollars. I want to see them make legislation that takes the houses back from the corporations that bought them and put them back on the market for the middle class at reasonable prices. I want to see Medicare for all. I want to see the Social Security age lowered to 55, right? That's the things that you need. That's stuff that not any president would do, right? Yeah. That's the things that the greatest president America has never had would do.
But you know what they're going to say. Where the hell is all of the money for that stuff going to come from?
I told you, again, if you're able to just come up with $14 billion, and they're giving another $1 billion to Israel. So I think at this point it's $30 billion. That's the end of, that's literally enough to end poverty in this country. You've met it right there. It's about, I think it was around $24 billion. So there you go. You have the end of poverty. You just gave it over to Israel for the weapons contractors. So don't ask me where it's going to come from. Right now it's going to genocide. We have all the money in the world, and guess what? Stop giving all these subsidies to oil companies. Again, oil companies have been around for a while. Why are we still giving them subsidies, right? Why are we giving them subsidies when they won't even alter their equipment so that they can refine the oil in our country? We're like the #1 exporter of oil in the world right now. We're even above Russia, I think it is, in oil exportation, and that's all Russia's got, like fucking potatoes and oil, my dude.
You're definitely driving my audience crazy, man. Wow. So look, you know I lean left, so I'm not disagreeing with every damn thing you're saying, but the idea that Trump didn't do anything at all good for America.
I don't give a fuck if he did. My dude, listen, I'm ex-Navy, dude. I was in the Navy for 6 years. I went in at 17 years old in 1999, and I was in before 9/11 happened, my dude, okay? So I did 2 tours in Iraq, and I know some shit, okay? This dude a fascist, my man, and you don't let someone. I don't care what policies he did at this point. He made a fake election, so he's guilty of all this shit, right? All these crimes. You're gonna find out he's guilty. Whether
wait. So you feel that Trump is guilty of all 88 charges?
Everything, my dude. Even things people never prosecuted him for in the past. He's still done the crimes. It's just people let him get away with it, right? This is like the first time in America you have an elitist. It just happens to be their guy. This is why they don't like it, right? But really, this is like the first time an elitist in America has been held accountable. It's a fucking beautiful thing, regardless of who it happened to, my dude, because it never happens in this country. So I'm telling you right now, this would not happen without the progressive movement. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. Without the young voters in this country and without the progressive movement, you would not have rich people getting held accountable. So I'll tell you right now, the progressive movement is working. Okay, it's working.
You know, the polls say you're going to get Trump in 2024. You're going to get Trump in November, though. The polls are in his favor.
I mean, yeah, you do. And Biden has a real danger. He really needs to hop on this kind of stuff and start campaigning because, again, Biden is not an ideal candidate in my eyes. I'm a progressive, my dude. I would much rather see someone like Katie Porter or Sherrod Brown or Ro Khanna. Like, those people would be much better presidents than Biden. I mean, all of them are like under 1,000 years old, right? So, you know, that's what I want. So, you know, again, Biden is the means to an end for me, my dude. When I tell you the progressive movement is working, right? You have to elect progressives and take over the Democrat Party from within. That's the only way you'll ever be able to get legislation in play that takes back Citizens United, right? The unlimited campaign.
You sound like a Bernie bro.
Yeah, so the thing is there's 2 types of socialists in the world, right? There's socialists that take power of the government by force, which is what I am not. The other type of socialist you have is one who seizes government power through elections. That's the method I prefer because I like democracy. I like a voting system, right? So a fascist is totally against what I stand for in my political beliefs. But either way, the socialist job is to seize power of the government and enact your agenda. And to be honest with you, that is the agenda of any political party. And it just so happens that MAGA tried to do that, but they did it through violence instead of an election system, right?
Wait a minute. They didn't. Are you saying that on January 6th we had an insurrection?
I'm saying on January 6th, you had a bunch of traitors, a bunch of Confederates storm the Capitol at the behest of a bunch of rich elites, right? And because they're lower class citizens and they love listening to rich elites tell them what to do. Because again, the MAGA party is a party for rich people. It is not a party of the common man. It's a bunch of fools who like to gaslight themselves and work at the behest of very rich people. You know what I mean? These are not.
Oh, wait a minute. All of these states that have very little wealth, Louisiana, Alabama, Kentucky, they're MAGA. How do you say that, Trump?
Look at them. You just named like the poorest states in the entire union, my dude. You literally named like every state that contributes the least amount to the GDP of this country, my man.
But yet you said MAGA is for the wealthy. But I'm telling you,
it's for the wealthy. It's not the common voters in those states that have the money. It's their politicians that have the money, right? The Mitch McConnells, the Kennedys, right? He's out of Louisiana. Guarantee you he's filled his pockets with donor money, right? But they keep on voting for these schmucks, right? And then they say stupid things like, oh, Chicago's burned to the ground, New York's burned to the ground. You know, they talk shit about the states that actually contribute the most to the tax system of this country and contribute the most to GDP, right? California's like the 4th or 5th largest economy on its own and doesn't even need the rest of the country to operate. And these dudes like to talk all kinds of shit about it because they don't like it that it's filled with liberals, my dude. That's really it, right? If you're actually for the country, you're for the country no matter what state it is, right? Like, I can admit that Texas contributes pretty heavily to this fucking country's GDP and has a lot going on. And they have a really, really good congresswoman named Crockett who came out of there. And I love her to death, man. She is one of the great progressives of our time. Dude, she really takes it to old dick pics, right? Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, old dick pics, right? She really took it to her, man. Like, and this is what they're all about, right? They're not about governing. They're about showing dick pics during the sessions of Congress, right? That's what they do.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is an interesting person, but I do got to move it on. Move, god damn. Wow. Appreciate you coming on. I got to go to the polar opposite of you after all of that shit, but I do appreciate you, man. Whoa, folks. And I see in the comment section, there's a lot of folks that were either very upset by Moore or very much in favor of what he stated. Now, keep in mind, you know how the program is ran. We go left of Bernie Sanders to having dinner with QAnon. So while you may have just been entertained or upset by someone who is an admitted progressive, you will hear devoted MAGA on the program. You don't have to agree with anyone in the comment section. You don't have to agree with the damn host. It's all about First Amendment free speech here, and no one is going to block, ban, or censor you for your commentary. By the way, if you do enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle, without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or censor you, you are in the right place. I would implore you to follow the program if you're on TikTok. For my YouTube viewers, feel free to drop a subscription. We're running on both platforms simultaneously. For my TikTok users, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 40,000. 1,300 of you in here. Wow. Same on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. The 3 dots at the top right hand of your screen will give you access to that. Get the likes on up to 20. Liberals have more homelessness and crimes. Hard to have homelessness if you don't have people, which Republican areas with considerably smaller towns are like. In the comments, Greg, I think that says, Greg, thank you for the subscription. By the way, in the comment in the box, subscribers always get first digs at the box. We bring them up first. Nevertheless, DJ Julio, I'm sure you got a bit to say, DJ Julio. Welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, man. Moo is a master debater.
I was told that. I've been called that before. But what did he get wrong? What did he get wrong?
Well, you got kangaroo court. You got a judge that's allowing 4 guilties and 8 not guilties per freaking charge stack. The whole thing was fucked, in my opinion. As a person who's been to criminal court, I am behind Donald Trump even further. He's going to appeal this. The appellate court is going to overturn it, and that judge is probably going to lose his right to be a judge. Michael Cohen, you know for sure his ass is going to jail after embezzlement.
I agree with.
It was a good day for America. When I say it's a good day for America, it was a good day for America to see how fucked our judicial system is, and that's used and that's weaponized against.
I wish you had, but Julio, all you had to do was listen to the average black man. We could have told you the justice system was fucked 50 years ago.
Well, I mean, I get that from my state being Mexican Indian. I get it. I've known it's been fucked, but I've just not seen it the way that I've seen it this way, and
it took for you to see. Trump didn't do any jail time. He hasn't been wrongfully executed or wrongfully imprisoned. You didn't start seeing the justice system being fucked until this happened. Might I invite you to look up the Innocence Project?
I I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all, Tim. I told you from the beginning of that I agree. I too, being a Mexican Indian in South Dakota, understand how fucked the legal system is.
But here is the problem.
The rest of the world got to see it.
Yeah, but here's the problem. When folks like you talking about Mexican Indians, African Americans, when they were bitching that the justice system was fucked, what was Trump saying? Blue lives matter? All you got to do is comply. He didn't show any mercy to minorities complaining that the system was fucked. Now that he is a victim of it, if you ask him, he's expecting minorities to show mercy to him. How do you explain that?
Very simply, he finally got targeted by the judicial system.
So he didn't care about those who got targeted before him.
Well, I mean, I don't really have any care to anybody around me that's getting charged for shit that they're doing because I have no control over that.
He was the president, Julio. He did have control. He could have said the same stuff he's saying now about the FBI when it's happening to him.
Right, but what he was bitching about, he's talking about freaking the BLM riots. He's talking about people that are actually out there breaking shit, doing shit.
Right.
Trump ain't done nothing wrong. And if he did something wrong 20 freaking years ago, you should have busted him for it 20 years ago. Statute of limitations is worn out, and the judge was corrupt. The judge was already wanting him done. They didn't allow the freaking defense to do anything, really.
But you said
he put a gag order.
You said he was talking about BLM and the riots. Why do you think BLM was doing that to begin with? They just felt like rioting, huh?
I don't think that the people that were rioting for the wrong reason. I think they were miscued by BLM. Yes, BLM as a faction is shit.
And you think Colin Kaepernick just decided to take a knee for no reason at all, huh?
I told you this before. If I was on the field when he put his knee down, I'd have kicked him in the face.
So how the hell does these
people?
So I go back to my original question. Trump saying the system is fucked. Everybody else that tried to complain before him, he didn't do nothing but find negative reasons to dismiss them.
He was playing a part as a politician at that point in time. Yeah, you're absolutely right when you say that he was playing a part and it wasn't cool.
Yeah, but now now that it's go ahead.
Yeah, the corruption is mainstream now. It's bigger than freaking BLM. This is going to be bigger than any of those riots, any of that Antifa shit. This is going to be bigger than January 6th. I told you, get ready, strap up. It's going to be a fun summer.
Explain that, elaborate. Why do I need to strap up? As Bananarama once said, why is it going to be a cruel summer? What's going to happen?
Oh, and I'm not saying strap up as far as get your weapons out. That's not what I'm saying.
That's what it sounded like.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase it to you so that you don't misunderstand me.
Thank you. Okay, let's do it.
Put your seatbelt on. We're going for a ride. July 11th. Before July 11th, this thing is going to hit the appellate court, be dropped.
You really think they're going to take this up for appeal in less than a month and a half before he's even sentenced?
I had a beautiful brunch this morning with my lawyer. He's my criminal lawyer. He's also my business attorney. He handles all my business shit. And he's a good family guy. He's a great guy. Everything that he says points to, before July 11th, they're going to have it in the appellate court.
Then if Trump is found guilty yesterday, his day to be sentenced is July 11th. But if he's able to actually have it appealed and they actually rule on it before the day he's actually sentenced, how the hell is that not a two-tier justice system in his favor? What other American can say that should happen to them?
That would be a two-tier justice system doing its job, and that's what they're scared of. That's what everybody should be scared of, is it not happening that way.
Giving you a ruling on your appeal before you are even sentenced, that's the justice system doing its job. So they should do that for every other American, right?
Well, I can tell you that in that was a long ass time ago, I guess. 1998. I was looking at 15 for aggravated. It got dropped before I appealed it immediately. And it got dropped before I freaking had to go to pre-sentencing. It took me 3 weeks.
But you weren't convicted. He's been convicted 34 times over.
By a corrupt judge, and the world sees this.
Now, you do realize that judge that oversaw Trump's case in New York yesterday has been around long enough almost to retire. Where are the what is the claims that he is a corrupt judge? Trump said he's the most corrupt judge in New York. What is that based on? He's been around for like 20 years. Where is all the corruption in his past?
How do you gag a defendant? How do you gag a defendant on a world stage that has a case that's going before the world?
So one case.
How do you not let the defendant? He's corrupt as this moment is right now. He's as corrupt as everybody that's going against Trump.
So you're saying when Trump wanted to talk about his daughter and things like that, the judge was wrong for stopping him?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you thinking?
What right does he have? Where does the First Amendment stop? Where does the First Amendment allow a gag order to happen at all?
So you don't believe in gag orders?
No. Well, I believe in an NDA, but not a gag order.
Okay. So if you go to court and you want to say the judge is a pedophile or he actually takes the innocence of women and kids, you believe you should just be able to say that?
Yeah, if it's true, don't get pissed.
No. I didn't say if it's true. You should be able to say that with no proof or evidence, right?
Absolutely. People do it all the time.
No, they don't.
All the time.
And they're held in
yes, they do.
And they are held in contempt. They lose defamation suits all the time.
You're telling me nobody has ever said some bullshit about you that wasn't true?
I'm not a judge. I would throw your ass in jail for contempt all day long.
A judge is not God. A judge is no better than me or you. I don't give a fuck.
If you're in
a judge is no better than me or you.
When you are in a courtroom, that judge is God.
Well, not in my world.
Well, your world might end up being in Sing Sing, or in this case, what is the jail over there? Rikers? That may be your world for a while.
Well, we shall see. I mean, to this date, so far, not at all.
Okay. So, part of the topic we're discussing today is, will he get jail time or should he get jail time? But if you believe they're going to adjudicate his appeal before July 11th, I'm assuming you don't think he's going to do anything.
I don't think he'll do any time, no. And all of this other corruption is going to fall apart. As soon as he gets into the appellate court, everything else that you see that he has on his docket is going away.
I don't know. So when you seen Trump walk in the court, so you believe Trump is an honest man?
I believe he is an honest man, and I believe he's putting on a great act right now.
He didn't pay Stormy Daniels to keep quiet that they slept together, because they never slept together at all. You believe that?
Correct. Michael Cohen paid her so he wouldn't so the rumor wouldn't come out and hurt Melania's reputation.
Why didn't Melania show up to defend her husband?
Why didn't Donald Trump? Because they needed to keep their mouths out of it. They wanted.
No, you ain't gotta. You don't have to say a damn thing.
Smart. He wants this to go this way. He wants him to go. He wanted it to go this way.
You don't have to say anything. Hold on. As a spouse, we're not saying you got to take the stand, but damn, show up to court to show support and solidarity for your husband. She didn't even go to New York. They got Tim Scott black ass out there. That doesn't make sense.
Why doesn't it make sense that he has a life outside of that courtroom and that someone has to run it?
Your wife can't visit you over a case that takes place over a month? You got your own jet. No way at all she can visit you.
This dude's flying back and forth, doing everything he's got to appease this court system. Why? I wouldn't want my wife there either. Let me go handle my business, make sure the house stays running.
Julio,
everything else that we're doing stays the way it is.
Julio, their house
that has no weight with me.
Julio, their house is part jet. He has enough equipment on the aircraft that she can spend the night there for. You can't come to town for me one night, baby. I mean, you really would be okay with your woman letting you go through something like that without coming to court one day? Damn it, we had the House Speaker, the Speaker of the House went there while he was actually working for the American people. If he can take off and go to New York, your own wife can't come?
Why would you suppose that they would be bringing government officials to this?
Because they are in the camp for Trump.
You guys got to be smart. Have none of you read The Art of War?
What does it got to do with this? Nobody's at war right now.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That's where I think. That's where I think a lot of you guys are sleeping, because we are at war right now in America.
Who are the sides of the war? What are we fighting over?
The swamp versus the American people.
Okay. And what side is Trump on?
Trump is standing for the American people. All the government officials that are going to court cases want to see this shit happen in their eyes, not on TV. They want to see exactly how right Trump is about what is wrong with it. Melania has no business being there because this doesn't have anything to do with her.
It's his wife.
She doesn't want to.
Your husband.
Like airtime.
Your husband.
I'm just telling you right now, my wife wouldn't be there.
That is crazy. But you stated that Trump is on the side of the American people and the swamp is on the other side. If that is the case, then why is Trump openly stating that half of his administration, like Mike Pence, Scaramucci, Omarosa, were part of the swamp? He himself appointed several swamp creatures to the White House.
Yeah, I don't know who's bad until I find out who's bad.
That's how you
know who's bad on your.
That's how
he did it.
That's how you run the country, trial and error?
No, it's not trial and error.
That's what you just said.
I'm gonna put you straight out in front of everybody so they get to see your corruptness. They get to see it. And those who are not blind and don't have their blinders on and actually live a free life are going to see it.
Why wouldn't you just
I pay homage in my life to nobody. I pay homage to nobody but God.
Okay, why wouldn't you just, Julio, why wouldn't you just pick good people? We didn't elect you to put bad people out there so we can see. We don't need to see if Mike Pence is good or bad. Just don't appoint him.
Did he not campaign on clearing the swamp?
Did he do it?
Did he expose them? Sure.
He didn't campaign. Wait, hold on. He didn't campaign on exposing. I don't hire a plumber to come to my house and expose the leak. Your job is to fix it. You want a participation trophy for exposing it?
I get hired daily. To go in and give us estimates. I get hired daily to go in and expose where this leak is and explain to the company or the customer, whichever it may be, how we're gonna have to fix it.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Julio. That's a good comeback, exactly, but you know what I'm talking about.
Well, that's why I came back so quick, because it wasn't a good one. Come on.
He didn't, Julio, he never ran a campaign promising to expose. He ran a campaign promising to drain. And then he finished up by saying promises made, promises kept. Did he drain the swamp? Not expose. Did he drain the swamp?
Well, I can tell you right now, the snake is in the office and it's about to get cleaned out.
I didn't hear yes or no in any of that.
Yes, he's exposed a lot of the swamp.
That ain't what I asked you. I asked you, did he drain the swamp? You said he promised to drain. He didn't promise to expose.
I can't drain a pool, Tim, until I expose the drain, right? And I can't find the drain until I find the swamp or the pool. I'm using the pool now.
All right, you should be a fucking lawyer. Say that again.
But what I'm trying to say is, if I don't know exactly where the swamp is, first I have to expose the swamp. I know the swamp exists. I see it every day.
4 years.
I see it.
4 years, and all you could accomplish was 4 years, and you leave office, and the swamp is still there, and you're not.
Oh my God, what time did he have, Tim? What time did he have to do anything? The Democrats and the liberals were up his ass weekly trying to fucking impeach him.
Okay, well, why you
only get him on impeach?
Well,
impeach him on one side.
Well, if the Democrats and liberals were up his ass, hey, look, if you got time to tweet while you're enjoying anal, damn it, run the country. I mean, he didn't have no shortage of time to tweet. He played plenty of golf. I don't get it.
Yeah, you still gotta live life.
Okay, but you
still
can't
gotta have a life. Listen. All of this has to happen in order for us to see exactly what's corrupt and what's not. Okay. Now, I will say this. I'll probably vote for Trump a third time. Maybe a fourth.
You really thought I thought otherwise? Julio, I got to move it on. Always enjoy talking to you. Thank you.
Hey, Tim, but let me ask you a question.
Real quick
before I go. You're voting Republican this year, right?
Am I voting Republican this year? There's not a Republican in the race, Julio. It's Trump versus Biden.
So American people versus the swamp. You're voting for the American people, right?
And I don't see anybody in this race that doesn't have a significant amount of swamp creatures surrounding them. I don't see it. I gotta go.
When he's still able to go for election on November 4th, are you voting Trump?
I gotta go. Talk to you later. Now, in regards to his question, and I always promise I'll answer my guest question. Julio's a friend of the program. We don't have to agree, folks. That's how it works. But in regards to his question, am I voting for President Trump? I lean left politically. I've said that before. I don't believe everything about Trump is bad. I'm not, you heard my prior guest move, nothing good about Trump at all. I don't agree with that. But at the same time, I am pro-choice, and I damn sure don't believe in giving cops immunity. And Trump has done both of those things. So that, for me, would hurt that chance of that. Certainly giving cops immunity from prosecution, I don't know why. Even MAGA don't favor that. I've had several Trump supporters that are going to vote for the guy no matter what come out and say that was bad. So the fact that Trump is promising to give police immunity from prosecution, for me personally, that's frightening. Wanted to acknowledge a super chat from the one and only Gen Xer. Fuck around and find out. Trump, my favorite felon t-shirts available soon. I'm going to get them designed and ordered this weekend. Trump 2024. I might wear a favorite felon shirt. I'll certainly wear a bad built butch body bitch or whatever that statement is. Nevertheless, Gen Xer, thank you for the super chat. Going back to the box, and I see in the comments some people said I need one. Gerard Bullock on TikTok said I need one. Mine hangs left. Mine is self-supportive. It doesn't hang at all. Looking in the comments, though, Trump train, next stop, Rikers Island. Yikes. Going back to the box, we'll go straight to one of my subscribers, Pat Carlson. There you go. I do appreciate you. For you subscribers, I certainly appreciate that. We'll move the program on. I want him in there because I don't want to live in communism. You think Trump is a communist? Wow. Pat Carlson, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah.
So what do you think of what happened yesterday? You don't have any audio. I can't hear you, Pat. Okay, Pat Carlson, I'm gonna have to drop your audio. Something's wrong.
No. Keep me here.
Okay.
All right. So here's maybe somebody can help me make some sense out of this. If you or I was to go into court and we were to get found of 2 felonies, let's say just 2 felonies, that judge would sit there and tell the bailiff, cuff him, take him to jail until sentencing.
Probably so.
He's charged was convicted of 34 felonies, and he's out on the streets. Now, here's another one for you. Okay, as a convicted felon cannot own a firearm.
Yeah.
If Trump gets back into the office, he's holding our nuclear warheads in his hands.
Wow, that's a good point. Because as a felon, you're not authorized to get clearance to a host of government organizations. I mean, he would not be legally allowed to get clearance all over the place.
As president, he could order an assassination. So he wouldn't necessarily have to pull the trigger himself, but he could have an assassination. He's actually said he could go down into Times Square and kill somebody and get away with it. Now, the
right?
Republicans, I don't know if the Republicans are right or left, whatever. The Republicans are going to say, well, it was fixed. Now, there's no way, and I actually made a TikTok video and I posted it, that I will pay the first person $100 that can show me that every one of those jurors was a Democrat. And all it takes is just one person to say, no, he's not guilty, and it's a hung jury. But they came, all 12 of them voted guilty in less than 2 days.
Yeah,
2 days.
9 hours. Yeah, that is amazing. It came back in 9 hours. Everybody thought it was going to be a hung jury.
Here's another thing. If you or I was to go into any business here in the United States and say, hey, I just got convicted of 2 felonies. Do you think that they're going to hire you?
Not even in McDonald's. Probably not even in McDonald's.
But, exactly. But yet they want to put them in the White House. And your last caller, he said, oh, they're going to acquit or they're going to overturn it in the appellate. How many appellate courts has ruled against Trump already?
Yeah.
On things.
And I was going to say that. I believe the Supreme Court may help him out, but the chances of Trump being having that overturned before July 11th, his sentence, I don't think that's likely. I was telling Julio that. Like, you really think that the appellate court is going to have his case, hear it, and rule on it before July 11th? That would be insanely quick.
That would be insanely quick.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it just, this whole thing is just, I mean, regardless of whether he gets into office or does not get into office. I mean, personally, the Republican Party, to save their party, should say, hey, look, this guy has too much baggage. We need to find somebody else to run against Biden. Point blank.
Well, I got folks on YouTube, for instance, John Doe, for lack of a better name, but John Doe says the jury was rigged. A lot of folks believe the jury had it in for Trump. Where's that coming from?
Well, exactly. His own defense team approved him too. It wasn't just, oh, the judge approved him and the prosecution approved him, but the defense had no say in it. That's BS. The defense had just as much say as the prosecutor did.
Yeah, I gotta kind of wonder, since Trump has came on the scene, do we trust any governmental organization in this country anymore? I mean, everything that he's dealt with cannot be trusted. It's all corrupt. Like, he has made it so when folks say he exposed things, for them, it means go ahead.
I was watching a thing that Trump did since the verdict. I don't know if he was at a rally or a press conference.
He was at Trump Tower.
But here's Trump is turning Americans against Americans. He sat there and said that all of these countries have emptied out their prisons and sent all their terrorists over here to our country. Are there terrorists in our country? I'm sure there are. We have sent terrorists to other countries. There is no way anybody's going to convince me that the United States hasn't got spies and such in other countries, because we do.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it.
Yeah, he said...
To go and say that all of these countries emptied out their prisons and sent them all over here with absolutely not one shred of proof.
Yeah. Yeah, he said Venezuela.
Turn the American people against each other.
Yeah, he said Venezuela did it. He mentioned Caracas. He also said China said that they're military-age men from like 19 to 25. They look like they're training for duty. I mean, he said that today, I believe. He did say what you're talking about.
Right. Now, in answer to your other question, do I believe that he will do any time? It's hard to say. I personally think he should be in jail right now, waiting for sentencing.
Oh.
You know, and I understand people's views on, oh, but he was the president. I don't give a rat's ass whether he was the president or not. You're convicted of a crime, you go to jail. You know, put him in a federal prison. They say that the federal prisons are country clubs anyhow.
Well, but let me ask it to you this way. Let me ask you this. Toilet Brush on YouTube, a hell of a name, says the federal government is dirty, causing Democrats and Republicans to fight over little crap while they loot all of America. Do you see the federal government, certainly since Trump has come on the scene, has been a corrupt organization?
Well, frankly, I think our entire government system is corrupt. You know, because I don't care if you're a Democrat, a Republican, but if you're if you're voted into an office, even as much as the PTA of your local school, you're there to represent we the people. That's all of the people. And these Democrats, if there is a Republican president in office, it's next to impossible to get anything past the Democrats. And if there's a Democrat president, it's the same thing. Because they don't work for we the people. They work for whoever's going to line their pockets.
But Trump promised.
What I always say is, when it comes to a politician, if their lips are moving, they're lying.
Yikes. But Trump promised to fix all that. Could I interest you in a MAGA hat?
Trump didn't fix it. Where did he fix it?
But he's saying.
Let's put it this way. The Democrats and the Republicans came together and they came up with a bill to, basically to fix, or help with the border crisis. But then Trump comes out and says, don't do that. Don't do that. So the Republicans are like, okay, we're going to stop. We're not going to help. We're not going to take care of this. But yet they still scream, we've got a border issue.
Well, there was a bunch of money. There were a bunch of money in it for the Ukraine, and they didn't think they said the border bill stunk.
But they were down for it until Trump said, no.
That is true. But how do you respond to folks who suggest that Trump would have got a hell of a lot more accomplished in regards to those corrupt systems you're talking about if the liberals weren't constantly trying to impeach him, holding him under investigation, and making his job hard as hell?
Well, let me put it this way. Trump would have got a whole lot more done if he would have stayed off the damn golf course. He told, during him running for office, he said, Biden has spent all this time on the golf course. I'm never going to be on the golf course. I'm going to be too busy running this country.
He did say that.
He spent more damn time on the golf course in 4 years than Biden did in 8 years.
Biden's only been in office for 3. I don't get what you're saying. You mean Obama?
I mean, not Biden, Obama. Sorry,
okay.
Obama.
All right.
Obama.
So at the end of the day, what do you think about Obama? Do you think he's doing a better job than Trump?
Biden or Obama? Because you just said Obama.
I mean, Biden. Do you think Biden, who's in office now, is doing a better job than his predecessor, Trump?
Like I always say, I don't care what president, as far back as history as you go, you're going to find good and bad to every president, no matter what.
That ain't what I'm asking you, though. That ain't what I'm asking you. Between those two men.
I actually think Biden is, and simply because of the fact that Trump, every time he opened his mouth, he was lying. Sharpie gate, the bit with the COVID, sitting there blaming the Chinese. Oh, it's nothing more than the common cold. Yeah, the vaccine may have came out under Trump, but let's face it, Trump sat there, and Obama, he had a crisis, package all set into place, for just such an emergency. And Trump gets into office and he does away with all that equipment or whatever that Obama had set into place for such an event as COVID.
Yeah. I gotta move it on, but I want to ask you this one last question before I do. With all of the things you said about Trump, all of the alleged failures of President Trump, how bad he's run the country, any way you can explain to me why the hell his poll numbers continue to be consistently better than Biden's?
Why his what numbers?
His poll numbers, his performance with African Americans and minorities.
Well,
why is he growing?
Let me put it this way. You can take, and your poll numbers can read whatever you want them to read. Whoever the party is paying for those polls, it's going to read the way they want. When Biden and Trump was going head to head, back before Biden became president, all the polls were saying that Trump was ahead.
Well,
Trump lost.
You do realize even the CNN polls are saying that Trump is leading Biden quite often. Even it ain't all right-wing polls. Even some of the left-wing polls.
Here's this though. Here's this. I don't know factual or not, but I heard just today that 20% of Republicans that are Trump supporters said that if Trump gets convicted of any felonies, they are not going to vote for him. So if Trump just lost 20%, and I don't know that.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Not that high. I don't believe that. Yeah, I don't believe that.
Well, like I said, regardless of whether it's 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, if he's losing part of his following, then, you know, and especially if, according to your last caller, he's going to get it overturned before he ever gets sentenced. But what if, you know, and Trump's got to think about this. He's sitting there telling this judge that he's corrupt, that everybody around this judge is corrupt and this, that, and the other thing. How is that and the fact that he violated the gag order, you know, what?
None of that. I get your point. I got to move it on, but at the end of the day, none of that. Yeah, talking about the judge before he sentences you is not advisable. Any attorney would tell you that. Pat Carlson?
Exactly.
Appreciate you coming through.
Thank you.
Anytime. By the way, folks, what do we say? Left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon. This is an uncensored free speech program. All day, every day, or better yet, all day, Monday through Friday. Not every day. Brother's got to take a day off. Monday through Friday, 1 p.m., 1300 hours, 1 p.m. Central is when you'll find us. Not my program, not yours. I consider it to be our program because it's never about telling you how you should think. We're here to hear what you have to say. If you enjoy civilized dialogue without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or censor you, follow the program for those on TikTok and for YouTube, a subscription if you will. Looking in the comments, every time he opens his mouth, the judge is listening. Rob Canfield on YouTube, that is 100% true. I don't know if the judge will act, but I would submit to you that I don't think I have to tell you this. I think everybody in the comments know whether you are devoted MAGA or you think the guy is the worst thing since Satan. We all know that criticizing a judge that's overseeing your case, that you haven't been sentenced yet and you're talking shit about the judge, I don't think anybody would advise you to do that. We can talk about it's free speech. You have a right to do it. Yeah. You have a right to cuss out a cop anytime you're pulled over. Don't mean it's advisable. There's a statement that goes, just because you can do something don't mean you should. So it is what it is. Remember, judges have a wide amount of latitude on what they can do to you. Trump could be easily given probation and a slap on the wrist, and he could also be given some time, over a year. That judge has a wide amount of latitude. Why would you fuck with him? Why would you mess with that guy? You can't hold off until July 11th. You can say any damn thing you want to about him after July 11th. To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But I know a lot of my beloved MAGA has a different opinion. Tap the screen. 1,400 of you here. Now, I'm going to say this. My numbers are pretty damn good generally, but 1,400 is better than average. So it's pretty clear a lot of you folks are indeed concerned with what's going on in this country. So the idea that nobody was going to give a damn about this, nobody was watching the trial, the hell they ain't. The hell they're not. I'm seeing this shit everywhere. It's on the front of every local newspaper. We know that. So today what we're talking about is how do you feel about this? 34 counts, all guilty, 34 felony counts. He's a felon 34 times over. Going to the box. I mean, it's insane. We'll go straight to the subscriber. Top Dog. Good afternoon, Top Dog. So is it all a witch hunt? Top Dog, good afternoon. Top Dog, are you there? Okay, apparently it took too long for that guess. We'll move it on. LA misdemeanor. I think the comment you're trying to type in there is that they were misdemeanors. They bumped them up to felonies. I understand a lot of people are disgruntled about that. I think there may be some validity to that, that Alvin Bragg bumped those charges up as high as he could get them. The only thing is, it's not a crime to do that. Let's say you go driving through a school zone at 10 miles an hour over the limit. Is it really that fucking bad to charge you with reckless driving or something really? They can do that. They actually can do that. They may, normally you might get, we'll bump it down to 5 miles an hour and give you a regular ticket, not to ruin your driving record. But if you're talking shit to the cops, they may bump it up to a reckless driving charge. This is the latitude we're talking about. So the idea that they bumped up misdemeanors to a felony, it may seem awful. It may be something worth discussing, but I don't think it's a crime. I think they legally can do that. I don't think what they did to Trump is against the rules. It's just harsh, some might add. Going back to the box real quick, Democrats use this as a political stunt. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree that Trump is facing charges that if he had sat down after the 2020 election and not run again, that he might not be facing. But that's politics. I don't think that if Obama didn't run for office, I don't think no one would have been suggesting he was born in Kenya, and Trump was deeply involved in that. Running for office has consequences. Trump's not excluded from that. Trump does it to other people. I don't know why all of a sudden when it happens to him, is all of a sudden off culture. He does it to other people himself. Going back to the box, we'll go to Den Cow, a new subscriber. Good afternoon, Den Cow. Welcome to the program. Felonies are handed out like candy, and nobody gave a damn until it happened to Trump. The war on drugs was handing out felonies for joints damn near. Just a little bit of marijuana. Nobody gave a damn. All of a sudden it happens to Trump, and it's like, oh my gosh, you went too far. Den Cal, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What do you think? You think that Trump got railroaded?
No. This is the justice system they've been telling us about all these years, all these decades. It's the greatest justice system in the world. Remember?
What are you? All lives matter now.
This is what we got. You
know? I get your
point. They try to do their best, but sometimes that's how it is in the justice system. It's cold in the courthouse. That's how it is.
That's a good point. I've never seen somebody charged with 34 felonies talking about the temperature in the courtroom. Any other American that's facing that much crime, nobody would give a damn you're a little bit cold. When they lock you up, they barely give you a sheet. Nobody gave a damn about the temperature of anybody else.
Right. His wife won't even come see him in court, and they're like, "Oh, that's normal." No, it's not.
Why do you think she didn't show up?
You know why she didn't show up? Why should she smack his hand away every time he tries to hold her hand in public? Why did she not even want to go to the White House when they first went there? She wanted to stay in New York.
Are you saying there's no love between this couple?
I mean, they don't even sleep in the same bedroom. He brings all of his mistresses in there and says, look, that's where she sleeps, and we're going to the master suite down the down the hallway.
I'm assuming you've been listening to some testimony from Stormy Daniels.
Hey, that's what's in the news. It's so surprising when I hear all of these Trump people talk about this two-tier justice system, and they got Trump out here today talking trash about one of the witnesses, and he's still under a gag order.
Yeah. Who did he? Wait. Was it Cohen? Who did he talk trash about?
Yeah, he called Cohen a sleaze bag today.
Yeah.
That's goes against the order. But then they'd be mad if the judge come back and throw him in jail. But he gets to break the law all the time.
Well, they're going to point out that Michael Cohen, because I interviewed him myself. I got to talk to Michael Cohen for a half hour. He's been all over social media. I think as of late he stopped doing it, but he's been all over social media trashing Trump. Is it fair that a witness gets to entertain the privilege of a gag order while trashing the guy the gag order is against? Is that not unfair to Trump?
The court system has never been about fair or unfair. What was the judge's ruling? He said, don't talk about the witnesses, period. He didn't say don't talk about the ones that except for the ones that talk about you.
Yeah. So you're admitting it's unfair, though.
I'm saying I've bought into the law and order that they've been telling us about for decades. So now they don't want me. Now they don't want me to be law and order. Now that the person they like is the one on trial.
It does seem to be a bit of that hypocrisy in this, because I've said the same thing. A lot of things Trump is complaining about. People have been complaining about that for decades to Trump, and he didn't have any mercy to him at all.
Not one bit. He was in office, and their excuses He was too busy to do anything about the swamp. When if you look at his whole cabinet, they reeled off the amount of people that have been locked up or lost their law licenses under him, and they were talking for 5 minutes about the people that he brought around him. Not one Democrat was testifying in that courtroom. None of the cases that is being brought up are any of the witnesses Democrats. They are all people that were in his orbit.
So at the end of the day, you do believe he's guilty of all 34 counts?
Of course he was.
Would you lock him up? Would you lock him up?
I believe they should lock him up. I believe they won't lock him up because I understand that two-tier justice system that he's getting away with right now.
So you believe he's a beneficiary of a two-tier justice system?
Of course he is. I mean, what court system says, okay, you can have certain days off of court, or you can they're gonna set up a box inside the courthouse for you to come outside every day inside the courthouse and talk trash about the judge who's about to sentence you.
You do really make it look bad when you really think about all of that shit. That is crazy. We're going to accommodate your insult podium. Yeah, that is kind of funny when you say it like that.
And guess what we're all doing right now? We're wondering whether he's going to give this guy some jail time.
After all of that. After all of that.
34 charges, guilty, and we're wondering if he's this guy who has disobeyed the judge's rules 10 times or more, that he found that he broke his gag order, he deserves to be in jail. But we are saying, well, maybe he probably won't. But then they want to say it's a two-tier justice system. Yeah, we see it every day.
So what do you think, though? Would it really be that bad if he got back in the White House? I mean, a lot of folks want this man. He got 74 million votes.
They want the retribution. They want the retribution.
Elaborate. What do you mean? Elaborate on that.
They want to see him utilize the DOJ and the justice system to accomplish their goal of owning the libs. They want to see him put Democrats in jail, whether they're guilty of something or not. That's what they're...
I want to give this to you. You know, I always say I don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You can take this comment any way you want. You can respond to it any way you want without any concern of censorship. Foster, a friend of the program on YouTube, and thank you for your super chat and support, Foster. Tim, he's referring to me, but he's also saying your caller has TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome. He just said the law was never about fairness. Dems will believe anything unless it's Joe Biden's documented 50 years of racism. Your floor.
What? It's a difficult conversation to have about octogenarians, how they used to think.
True.
Back 40, 50 years ago, when they pretty much all were racist back then. They had racist upbringings.
But Trump loves blacks. Trump has done a lot for HBCUs, the economy in black neighborhoods. Rappers have liked them. Prison reform for a few folks. Maybe Trump is the guy.
I could address Trump, but it would take more time. This was about Biden. Okay, Biden has said and done some things in the past. He was a big part of the crime bill. We understand that. You have to understand that the crime bill was not solely written, approved, voted on, and signed by the president by himself.
Right.
The biggest part of the crime bill was the actual how the people in the different localities, how they interpreted that law, and how those judges used that law to lock people up. And so Biden didn't say everybody just go to all the black neighborhoods and lock up all the black people. That's just kind of how it worked out.
So he said go out. He said go protest peacefully. In other words, that's what Biden did. Biden basically said go out there and lock people up, but do it peacefully.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So they could be equal. They could be equal on those terms. But when you turn around and look at the man's history after that, Okay, if he's a racist, then he's the worst racist in history because going out hiring your number two to be a black woman, putting a black woman on the Supreme Court, having the most diverse cabinet in the history of the country is not really KKK style governance.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Any notion that, you know, Biden is racist by today's standards doesn't measure what our eyes are seeing. But I gotta move it on. Den Cal, by the way, thank you for the subscription. Before I let you go, anybody ever tell you sound like Richard Pryor?
Never.
Okay. I gotta go. Appreciate you coming. Come on back to any time, man.
All right, sure will.
All right. Looking in the comments, maybe it's because I'm old and some of you guys are young. Biden has a history of racism, says Vela Curry. Well, I'm not going to try to defend Biden. There's things in Biden's past that are worth discussing, but currently, as my last caller was pointing out, his vice president is black. He's appointed a black female to the Supreme Court. He served under the first black president, and his administration looks like a box of Fruit Loops, all colors. Meanwhile, his adversary, Trump's administration was mostly white. I'm just simply saying the claim that Biden is racist and Trump loves black people, even if it's true, even if that was to happen to be true, does not match what your eyes are seeing. I've been to Trump rallies. I've never been to any Biden gathering. I've been to Obama rallies, but I've been to Trump rallies. It is all white. It is almost all white. But that's the crowd that loves black people. And then we go to Biden's rallies where there's all of these LGBT, Muslims, you name it, Hispanic. This is the racist crowd. I'm just simply saying it doesn't match up to what your eyes are looking at. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. But looking in the comments, though, Trump was using the excuse, I have a black friend, so I'm not racist. Well, I hate to say it like this, but they all do that. Hillary Clinton showing up to Charlemagne the God talking about she got hot sauce in her purse. Nancy Pelosi on television dancing in African garb. Seriously? So I don't want to bang Trump for doing something that literally happens across the board. It is what it is. You got a lot of whites that show up in black neighborhoods and attend churches that they wouldn't even let their car sit out in front of outside of the election. So it happens on both sides. By the way, feel free to tap the screen. Get your guy on up to 100,000. We still got 1,400 plus of you in here. You could be anywhere you want to be this Friday afternoon. Certainly a pleasure to have you here with me on an uncensored broadcast. You know how we run the show. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. Whether you disagree with somebody in the comment section or even if you disagree with the host, it doesn't mean a damn thing here. We always about free speech. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. I'd implore you to follow the program on TikTok. For my YouTube viewers, feel free to drop a subscription. Ow, Wheezy, yeah! Thank you for the hat and mustache. By the way, something I don't normally ask you folks, but I see it can be done. Share the live. I've had folks suggest I tell you that. I've never done that before, but feel free to share the program for like-minded individuals. Are racist folks voting for Democrats or Republicans? Asked the question by Tone Fritz. Racist folks. Now, you know, I've often stated something that a lot of minorities disagree with me on, but I do believe anyone is capable of being racist. I don't believe whites have a patent on being racist. So when you ask, are racists voting for Democrats or Republicans, let me see the racists, because I believe that Farrakhan is racist and he ain't voting for Trump. Just want to point that out. I do believe you can be racist no matter what your background. There's different levels to the game, but I do believe anyone can be racist. Real quick in the comments, I wanted to give a shout out to Kel Brew 75. Thank you for that subscription. Let me go back to the box. Joe, are you illiterate? If the statute of limitations on a crime is already passed, how can you be tried for that crime? Can you? If the statute of limitations was passed on Trump's crimes, I don't think Alvin Bragg would have even gotten away with trying him on that. I don't believe the statute of limitations claim. If Trump gets off on appeal And he very well could be. I don't think it's going to be because the statute of limitations was not observed. I think that argument's not going to work. Jay People says Farrakhan never oppressed anybody. If you look up the definition of racism, is oppression part of it? I think you can be racist without oppressing people. I believe you can. Maybe I'm wrong. If you're looking for justice in this country, look around you. That's exactly what you find. Just us, Richard Pryor. I don't quite get that one. Statute, not statue. Thank you for the correction. Supreme Court will overturn. I do believe that if it goes to the Supreme Court, that will happen. But by then, the election could be already over with, and Trump could have served time behind bars. I do believe that on July 11th, Trump will not even be dealing with the appeals court yet. So the Supreme Court won't be in it unless Trump pulls the same stunt that, what is the guy's name? Jack Smith pulled down in Florida, skipped over the appellate court, took his case to the Supreme Court with the immunity thing. I think he did that to shorten the delay. Jack Smith went straight to the Supreme Court. Why can't Trump's people do that? I mean, after all, the Supreme Court is likely to be pro-Trump. Going back to the box, though, and that would really piss off some people. But hey, if it worked for Jack Smith, some would say it could work for President Trump. We'll go back to the box. I don't know what just happened there, but we'll keep it moving with Mr. Walter Wake. Foster, anyone not foaming out the mouth with stage 5 TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, can understand there was many things very wrong with this case. I don't know about many, but I do believe there's things that are questionable. I won't say many, because look, at the end of the day, I have a hard time believing that Trump didn't sleep with Stormy Daniels. So some of the basic aspects of his defense to me don't measure up, but a lot of you folks disagree. Mr. Does it say Waiter or Walter? Walter, good afternoon. What do you think? Was Trump railroaded yesterday? 34 counts?
I think he's dealing with the consequences of his actions for the first time in his life. I think it was finally time for Teflon Don to get what's coming.
Wow.
I don't think he'll do any time, but I do think he'll have perhaps like a home confinement or something like that.
So you're talking about potentially house arrest, ankle. Well, they weren't not going to put an ankle monitor on, but you're talking about where you can't leave Mar-a-Lago or something like that.
Something like that. I don't know. Who knows? But I don't think he'll do any time. At Rikers or whatever.
Do you think he's actually guilty?
I do. I follow a couple of, these TikTok lawyer guys who seem pretty smart, 25 years doing it. And they all said, this is the type of crime that you plea out. This never goes to trial.
Yeah.
And, it was a done deal the minute they went to court over it.
Yeah, I think that's somewhat, to me, I bring up some similarities to what's happening with Hunter Biden as well. I believe in this case with Trump, if he wasn't running for president, it would have been pretty easy to make some kind of deal and make this go away without any jail time. Same thing with the Letitia James $335 million verdict. I think if he wasn't running for president, he would have had his lawyer, Michael Cohen, make some type of deal, pay a small fine, a couple million or something, that would have went away as well. But I also say it's similar to Hunter Biden, because he lied on the gun application, didn't commit any crimes with the gun, wasn't pulled over or something and found to have an illegal gun on him. He had gotten rid of it already. Same thing. He would have made a deal behind the scenes and that would have went away. So I do believe that these men are facing some of this scrutiny because of what they're, well, in Hunter Biden's case, it's his dad, though.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with that. The thing with Trump is he's his own worst enemy. I mean, he can't stop himself. His ego, because he's such a big narcissist, is what is causing all of this. We were talking about the documents yesterday. That he kept those documents because of his ego. It was a connection to his power that he lost. And when he lost that election, he could not admit it. And that's my opinion about why he kept those things. I don't think he's trying to sell it. He was on tape trying to, show some war plan to, that he admits it's classified. You know, and
yeah, that's really weird. Because folks point out that Joe Biden and Mike Pence had documents too, but you are correct. He's on tape admitting, I could have classified this when I was president, but I didn't do that now. That's going to come up in his case.
Yeah, exactly. And that case is the one that, he will do time if he's convicted on. And
you feel confident in that?
I am confident in that. I don't think he'll go to trial before, the election, but I guarantee you if it goes to trial, he's sunk. So
let me ask you this way. Let's say for shits and giggles, somehow, some way Biden wins and Trump loses. Do you think those cases will continue?
I do. I don't think they're going to let this man go at this point.
So you think that even if he's no longer in politics, he still could end up doing jail time?
I don't know, to be honest. I think perhaps they could. I was always hoping that they would make some sort of deal with Jack Smith to say, look, just admit you lost this election, admit some of this stuff, and it all goes away. And I was kind of hoping that would be the case, but no, his ego won't let him do that either.
Yeah, I could see him getting on stage. I'm forced to tell you I lost this election. Wink, wink. I think he would have a real hard time, even if he was given a chance to walk, to admit that. I think he would have a real hard time doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's be clear, even if Trump sincerely tried to tell the American people, I made it up or I actually did lose, the deep state got to him. They don't poison pilled him and made him. Yeah, so they're not going to accept that anyway.
Yeah. This whole deep state stuff, it's ridiculous. The divergence from reality on some of these opinions is what's so scary to me, that these people believe this ridiculous stuff. And I hear it on your show quite often. But I would say I'm more like, a middle of the road guy and don't really buy into, the far left stuff, but certainly, a man Moo, always enjoy his.
But speaking of the election, you mentioned Ladies C in the comments, and I always want to give a shout out to my female MAGA because everybody suggests that the women are going to vote liberal because of abortion, but I always get female MAGA. Ladies C in the comments says he never lost the election. America will soon see what's coming. How do you respond to folks who 3 years out are still saying that somehow, some way evidence is going to come out that Trump won?
This is what I mean. There's nothing you can say that will convince them of what he's done. There's literally no evidence. There's 60 court trials. His own, all of the people that he was close to and in his past administration, said he lost. Yeah. He said he lost, and they don't believe him. He said, "Can you believe I lost to this guy?"
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can say to these people. It's insane. Everybody uses the cult word, but what else is that? What else could it be?
But do you believe there's any legitimate claims to that allegation that there are MAGAs, a cult-like following? Do you actually believe that at all?
Yes, I do. I don't know how else to explain why these people have such devotion to this guy. He's so clearly a con man, and I don't know how they can't see it. Even when the evidence is right in front of their faces, when the people that, used to, before they, went against Trump, they were held in high regard, right? The minute you say anything against Trump, they're out.
Is it possible that maybe Biden has something to do with this? Meaning, the direction that Biden is taking this country in is so awful that people really want Trump because Biden is letting the country go to hell. How do you respond to folks who would view it that way?
I think that Biden has done a C+ job. I don't understand how these people think that we have devolved to the worst. I understand there's some indicators that are not great, but everybody said the other thing that drives me nuts is the economy under Trump was so great. Yeah, okay, yeah, he rode the Obama train for a while. The economy was good, and then COVID happened, right? Yeah. I remember I couldn't get toilet paper. Does people not remember how shitty it was at the end of that? And then we've come from that level. All these people dying, 1 million people dead. You can't get any toilet paper. The ships are all parked out on the West Coast. You couldn't get anything in, all the containers. To where we are now, and they think that is so terrible. I mean, look at the numbers. They're not terrible.
74 million people, though, Mr. Walter. I do got to move it on, but the polls still show he is exceptionally competitive with Biden, even leading him in many polls. So,
yeah, he can sell himself. That's not, up for debate. He is selling himself to these people very well.
And he's doing a very good job. Appreciate you coming through, Mr. Walter.
Thank you.
Anytime. Looking in the comments on YouTube, Squeeze says, fuck Joe Biden, FJB. Also, Antoinette says the country is doing great. And what does that say? You don't get it and are obsessed with Trump, says Mr. Big Angry. Well, let me respond to and by the way, Kevin B, as in Baker, with the subscription. Thank you very much, Kevin B. Appreciate that. Appreciate you folks that are following the program. Tap the screen, get me on up to 120,000 likes. Over 1,200 of you still here, certainly on YouTube as well. Feel free to smash that like button. 3 dots at the top of your screen, get it on up to 60. Thank you folks for tuning in, YouTube and TikTok viewers. Talking about Tango Delta Sierra Trump derangement syndrome. Asking that question, why are folks so fixated on Trump? What about Biden? Simple. Trump is really good at renewing the discussion. When we criticize Trump versus criticizing Biden, think about what comes up. Biden, the border. Vote for me, you ain't black. The crime bill. The economy, gas prices, the pipeline, Ukraine. Everything I just mentioned on Biden, we could be talking about a year ago and it would still apply. Ukraine war was still going on. We weren't happy about it. Pipeline, gas prices, all of the same shit day after day. Trump, it's always new things. So as a result, Trump's going to be discussed more. What we're talking about today, 34 counts, guilty on all of them, all felonies. This conversation was irrelevant last year this time. And Trump promised to get cops immunity. That was one of our other conversations a couple of days ago. Irrelevant a year ago. Trump is constantly renewing the dialogue. If Biden was doing it, we'd be talking about Biden. But the fact is, Biden, whether you favor what he's doing in Washington or not, he's just working or sleeping, whatever you want to say. But he's not constantly saying inflammatory shit. So he doesn't get discussed as much. How many times do we want to talk about the crime bill? We've covered it probably 50 times. It's the same bill. It's not going to change. Trump is doing new things. That's why he's going to get covered more than Biden all day, every day. Look at the comments. Even Sleepy Joe. How long is Sleepy Joe, that name? We could have talked about that 3 years ago. How many times are you going to talk about him falling asleep? It's the same statement, same things. The conversation on Biden is not changing. That's why he doesn't get discussed as much as Trump. Looking in the comments, Trump train leaving the station soon. I had a guest say that the Trump train was headed to Rikers. What say you, Michael, in the comments? Going back to the box, I don't know what just happened there. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 120 foul. Real quick I don't know what just happened there, but BZ, team member of the program, good afternoon, BZ. Any chance Trump got railroaded? Where's my MAGA? I'm not getting a lot of MAGA today. That's oddly enough. A lot of folks are in favor of a former president potentially doing jail time. Wow. Have a heart, Democrats, liberals. Do you really want to? By way of yes or no in the comments. The box is having problems, so we'll get a box in a minute. But by way of yes or no in the comments, how many of you folks, if you were to judge, would give Trump jail time, even if it's a day, even if it's 1 day? How many of you, by way of yes or no in the comments, would give Trump actual jail time, even if it's a single day? Wow, it's enough of you guys. Wow, yikes. Trump for jail, Trump for jail, Trump for jail, Trump for jail. Says balls itchy. But I do got a lot of no's coming from Daniel, Kenny, Porter, Claudette, and Rodney. Wow. Jail time up for a former president. Former president. Folks are suggesting that if he's locked up, it could be civil unrest in this country. Going back to the box, I don't know what just happened with my last caller, but apparently the box is acting up. So we'll move the program on, and we'll go straight to what is that, Andy? Good afternoon, Andy, a friend of the program as well. 34 felony counts, guilty on all of them. Andy, what say you?
I told you this was coming.
But is it right? Did the courts fail us and convict a man who didn't deserve it? Is it the right decision?
I mean, a grand jury looked at the evidence to indict him in the first place. They had to have a grand jury to indict to look and see if there was enough evidence to prosecute in the first place.
Yeah.
Then it went to the judge, and then it went to the prosecutor. Then they picked a jury. Trump's people had a chance to strike people from the jury, just like, the other side. Because we didn't even think they'd get a jury picked, remember?
Yeah.
They managed to do that. And so the jury, after 10 hours of deliberation, found him guilty. They even requested testimony to listen to, so it's not like they did it flippantly,
Which case was that? There was one case where Trump was saying he was entitled to a jury, but he had actually, his side had asked that the case be decided by a judge. I think that was Judge Ingram in the Letitia James case.
Yeah, see, and that's just Trump's own lawyers not doing their job correctly.
Well, he's having a hard time getting really good counsel.
And I noticed they don't complain about Judge Cannon.
Down in Miami.
At all. Like, Judge Cannon doesn't want to put a gag order. She's
down in Miami.
Instructions for the jury before we even have a case, court trial. I mean, those things are all very improper.
Remember the old commercials?
They don't care about that, do they?
Yeah, remember the old commercials? Maybe it's Maybelline, maybe she's MAGA.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they don't care about that. And see, I don't see the Democrats sending all these candidates and representatives and people that are actually in the government down to the trial to try to put their finger on the thumb of justice. Only saw Republicans doing that.
But no corruption at all. On YouTube, Craig says everyone knew this was coming. It's called corruption. I told you this was coming. Yeah, you really predicted this, with a ton of clown emojis. Why are there so many folks saying that what happened was corrupt?
There's this thing called evidence, and I'm sorry, they don't want to look at the evidence. The indictments are there for them to read. They can pull up the court documents. They can them themselves read the evidence against him. If I had that much evidence against me, they would throw me under the jail. Not to mention, if I put up a picture of me holding a baseball bat next to Alvin Bragg's head, I'm pretty sure they would bury me under the jail till time for court.
Did he do that?
Trump did that.
He did that?
Yeah, he did that. You think you and I could sit out of jail by putting a picture of the prosecutor up with a baseball bat beside his head? I don't think so.
Jesus. Wow.
I'm pretty sure they would slap us in a cell and tell us we'll go see us later.
Yeah, that's very inflammatory to hold up a picture of you with a base. Why the case is still going? I don't get that. You kind of wonder how his lawyers, because they're sitting at home seeing this shit as well. They're thinking like, you're sitting there having dinner with your wife, and your wife, your client just posted this, and you're like, what the fuck? I don't see how he gets away with that.
And like Melania's going to go down there and listen to the testimony of his plaything that he, had while she was freshly out of the hospital for giving birth. Yeah, I can understand why she didn't make it.
So you don't buy into the notion that he really never slept with Stormy Daniels and it was just a cash grab.
Even Trump said, at the beginning of the trial, that wasn't illegal. Like, he's so dumb. He admits to everything inadvertently. Like, this is the dumbest man in judicial history. They tell you have the right to be silent.
Right.
Trump has the right to be silent. He has the ability to be silent. So, in his case, he is his own worst enemy. Like, there's no way as a lawyer I would take him as a client. Like, zero.
Yeah, and that's that part of
And I
it.
would like to point out on YouTube, I've been watching that. All those no's were written by 4 people. Like,
Really?
the same 4 people.
I didn't see that.
You can't count all those no's if they're about the same 4 people. I'm just saying.
I didn't see that. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't look through. I mean, I got comments. Listen, I'm trying to run the show. There's so many screens and shit going on, but I didn't see that. That's funny.
I saw all the comments over here that were, from different people, but then I saw the comments over there were all from the same people, and I found that to be hilarious. Like, that was just funny as hell.
Oh my, Tatted KH, thank you for that Undersea World. Appreciate that, Tatted KH. So at the end of the day, would you send this guy to jail for this though?
I think he'll get probation at best.
What would Andy do?
I would probably, because he was so incendiary during the trial,
Right.
give him 30 days in probation.
30 days, wow.
Because it's falsifying documents, it's not. But I would like to point out that Trump keeps inviting people who have charges against him to his rallies. Like, look at the rappers in the Bronx. Like, how is this helping him?
He's hanging around, but he's
a criminal. But I'm gonna hang out with criminals. Like, is that really helping his rep? Like, he needs street cred so bad he need to get convicted. Is that what happened?
Well, that's kind of how it works. That's how you get street cred. Is hanging around folks that have been through the system.
I'm starting to wonder if he didn't bring this on himself at this point. Like, all the talk. I mean, no way could we have said the things about the judge, the court, the picture. I mean, like, all of these things combined. And then they want to sit there. And, like, they were threatening, people in the court. Like, MAGA supporters are not using any kind of critical thinking skills, basically.
Well, they believe their thinking skills are being used to get a bad commander-in-chief out of the White House and get the right guy in.
I don't believe that. I believe that Donald Trump is using everybody he can around him that he thinks will help him, and he don't give a damn about any of those people. He only cares about himself. Do you remember when he said...
Wait a minute. But isn't that... Hold on. Isn't that politics?
Execute all the drug dealers.
But
he said that while he was running for office. He's willing to be judge, jury, and executioner, and he doesn't even think that, going through the basic trial basis is not corrupt. How is he going to just unalive people, for crimes that if he doesn't even know that they're fully guilty? Look at our justice system now. It's full of people that didn't commit the crimes necessarily.
But are you being fair to Trump when you say he'll use people around him to get where he needs to get? I mean, I brought up Hillary Clinton going on Charlemagne the God, an African-American program, and says she keeps hot sauce in her purse, trying to appeal to black people. Nancy Pelosi out dancing in African garb. Is that something is it wrong to blame Trump for doing that like nobody else does it?
Sell a Bible. I've never seen a Democrat sell shoes. Those are both appeals to certain bases. Like, I've never seen a Democrat do that. Like, I've never seen a Democrat get out so much and say, look, I made these shoes just for you. Like, come on, Tim.
But you do know we have a congresswoman that right now, and I know because I got one on order, is selling a bleach blonde, bad butch body. I mean, that's a liberal selling merchandise.
Yeah.
I got Obama's birth certificate on a mug.
I get it. But that came from a quirk. She said it wasn't a plan. Donald Trump went out and planned to make these shoes. Like, that happened, like, if there was any kind of way that happened organically, I might could see it. But Trump's wasn't organic. It was methodical.
What do you mean by that?
To buy the old Lee Greenwood Bibles and then say him and Lee worked together, but those were the old 9/11 Bibles.
Oh.
I mean, that's deceptive as hell. Let's just say those were the leftover 9/11 memory tribute Bibles and go from there. Let's not say that you and Lee Greenwood worked together and made these Bibles, and we know that they're left over from then. I mean, just the continual deception from this man.
So you're essentially saying that Trump is a con man.
Well, yeah. Did you not hear the guy from The Apprentice this week whose NDA ran out?
Oh, that NDA is over with?
Yeah.
Where's the video?
I don't know. I just saw a clip from him on there today talking about...
that's an October surprise right there.
Con man, And the whole setup for The Apprentice, basically, the reason they elect Trump was confidence. And where do you get con man from? The word confidence. See, I mean...
Well, let me just say this. That was...
He said he's going to release the evidence. I can't wait to
see. That was yesterday's show. What is his name? Something Pruitt, the guy who was saying that Kwame Jackson, the winner of The Apprentice, Trump was saying that an N-word, America would not buy it. That's what we did the show on yesterday. And there's video evidence of him out there using the N-word in regards to that guest. If that comes up, that's an October surprise.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
But I mean, to me, it's not shocking because of his past. Yeah. I don't see how they don't look at his past and use, some kind of like reasonable thought. Like you pointed out earlier. They look at Biden's past and they see all of that, but they don't see any of the good he's doing now. They look at Donald Trump's past and whitewash it all the way to the future.
Well,
I don't understand.
We'll see what happens in November. Andy, I do got to move it on, though. 34 counts. Appreciate it. Come on back through anytime. You know we do. Anytime. Oh, appreciate it. Thank you. Wow. So I'm really quick on the YouTube side of the hour. Foster, super chat. Thank you. Foster says, regardless of whether you like Trump, you should be happy about this. Can't beat him in the polls, fine, but don't celebrate the birth of the USSA. Yikes. I got to push back with this. And Foster, thank you for supporting the program. Definitely appreciate that. I've been saying this to several MAGA, my beloved MAGA, Trump supporters that are suggesting that weaponized justice system against Trump, or that Alvin Bragg, Letitia James actually ran a campaign on going after Trump. My response is simple. Trump ran a campaign on going after Hillary Clinton. He wasn't talking about giving her due process or giving her a case in court and trying to convict her. He talked about locking her up. No due process, no constitutional rights, just straight from citizen to lock her up. No one gave a damn about that. Talking about my beloved MAGA. MAGA did not give a damn about the notion of Hillary Clinton not having due process, not having a day in court or anything. So I do want to bring that up for folks who think that the system is being weaponized against Trump or that Trump is not getting his fair shake. Many of the same folks that are saying that now were yelling, lock her up. Lock her up for what? She's never been found guilty of a single crime. And they were for that. Now all of a sudden it's on the other foot, and a weaponized justice system that suddenly doesn't seem so cool. But I just want to point that out. If you were part of the lock her up crowd, knowing this woman has never been convicted of anything, you're part of the issue. You're part of the problem. You were totally fine with the criminal justice system acting in an unconstitutional manner against your adversary. But now you favor the individual that you believe is being victimized, and suddenly you're changing your tune. So I do want to point out the hypocrisy, because not only was that being hypocritical, but Trump himself, the guy who is claiming to be a victim of it now, was actually doing it to someone else. That has to be brought up. Look at in the comments, that's fair, but I don't think any MAGA expected the FBI to grab her and gulag her. We just wanted an investigation. I was personally not part of the lock her up crowd. I agree with what you're saying, Tim. Thank you for that, Foster. And I know there's some folks that are not in agreement with it, or others that may have wanted her investigated. Fair enough, but at the end of the day, they weren't yelling, we want an investigation. They were yelling, lock her up. And Trump even stated while on stage, if I'm president, you'd be in jail. In jail for what? He hasn't been convicted of anything, so I do want to point that out. He told his own adversary. Now, he didn't do it because he didn't have a legal right to do so. But he was running a campaign on locking up his adversary, even though she had never been convicted of a single crime. And I don't think there is video evidence of Trump supporters or MAGA anywhere in existence that thought that what he was doing was wrong. I don't think you'll find them anywhere. Somebody wearing a MAGA hat saying what Trump is doing goes against our Constitution. I don't think you'll find anyone saying that. But they are now. So I just want to point that out. Anyhow, looking in the comment section, Tim, but did he do it, says Miguel. No, he didn't do it. No, he didn't. He did. Ultimately, he did not do it. But MAGA clearly wanted him to. The same group that wants the system to be fair now. They wanted him to do that. So I want to point that out. If it's good for the goose, you know how the phrase goes. Tap the screen. 1,200 plus of you in here. We might be to get to around 150,000 likes if you let your thumbs not be lazy on this uncensored broadcast. Every day, the broadcasts are uncensored. 1 p.m. Central, 1,300 hours is when you'll find us. Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Central, 1,300 hours. We don't block, ban, or censor the commentary of anyone. You don't have to agree with anyone in the comment section. You don't have to agree with the host. First Amendment free speech reigns supreme here. So it's not about anyone telling you how you should think. It's all about hearing what you have to say. Same on YouTube. Tap that screen. Get your boy likes on up. 70 can certainly happen. The 3 dots at the top of your screen should allow you to access that. Get the likes up on YouTube. By the way, if you enjoy this type of dialogue without any concern of being blocked, banned, or censored by the host, or anyone for that matter, we don't even have a moderator. Feel free to follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube if you will. Going back to the box, we'll keep it moving with, I don't know what I'm looking at here, but we'll go with Country 0227 Music. I always love my country folks. Good afternoon, country.
Can you hear me, sir?
Loud and clear.
All right, couple things. One, I think you're taking what Trump said out of context.
Give me an example.
Now, when you said wanted to put her away without due process.
Okay.
What they were on the debate stage, and Hillary was going after his supposed craziness acting, and she said it's a good thing you're not making the laws, and he said, yeah, because you would be in jail. He didn't say, hey, I'm going to lock you up if I become president. When she said it's a good thing you're not in charge of the law, and he said, yes, because you would be in jail. She testified in front of Congress. Now, if you or me got a subpoena from the federal justice system that said, do not do away with such and such emails, and me and you took and bleach bitted them, had our assistants break them up with hammers, we would be in jail, period. End of discussion, no two ways about it. She walks off scot-free. This lady that was on there a second ago talk about how bad Trump is for making shoes. I would rather him come up with ideas to make money than be like the Democrats and just steal it and get paid by the back door.
What evidence you have of the Democrats stealing money?
All right, did Biden or did he not on video say, tell the Ukraine people, because they were getting ready to investigate the company his son worked for, if you don't fire the prosecutor, I'm withholding the $1 billion from you.
Yes.
And son of a bitch, didn't they do it? Did he not say that?
Yeah, he did say something like that. He did, but that ain't. But how is he stealing money?
Corrupt right there. The text that's already came out from his son Hunter's laptop, the big man, 10% goes to the big man. Come on, we're not stupid. We know who they're talking about.
I agree with you that it sounds awfully like they're talking about his dad, but you know, in court, you're not going to convict anybody on the big guy. You got to show proof that Biden is known as the big guy. You got to link that statement to the president.
You know what? If our country was not so corrupt in the politicians, I'm talking about the left and the right. I'm not saying any one side. If they were not so corrupt that they would actually put one of them in jail, but what's wrong is they're all eating out of the same kettle. If one of them goes down, they're afraid they're all going to go down. Look, a public servant should not be able to go in with a net worth of $5 million and come out being a public servant with a net worth of $570 million.
Who are you referring to?
Nancy Pelosi, for instance.
I don't, someone talked to me about this yesterday on Biden going in and he's made millions. I don't see how anybody, Democrat or Republican, can go serve their entire adult life in Washington and not make money. I don't know if that even means you're corrupt. People are literally throwing money at you as a lawmaker. Anybody that served as long as Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, Biden, you're going to be worth a ton of money. You don't have virtually any expenses because the government covers a bunch of shit. And then you got everybody throwing them. By the way, campaign funds, you can keep that stuff. Now we're talking about corrupt liberals As if President Trump has not had 70 some odd $1 million in legal fees paid without any coming out of his pocket. He's making a fortune too.
They're all making money.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is everybody's acting like Trump is the worst thing to ever hit the planet Earth. Biden, in I think it was 92, and I don't want to get you bananaed or anything, but this is what the African American community has forgotten about, or all of a sudden they have, give him a pass, said, I do not want my kids going to school in a jungle.
Yeah, I remember racial jungle. Something I've mentioned before, Biden certainly has racially suspicious sounding things in his past, but unfortunately for folks who don't like Biden, his opposition is Trump, and Trump has probably a laundry list of racially suspicious shit in his past. If you were running against Ron DeSantis or Vivek or somebody, that argument would be more hurtful to Biden, but he's running against Trump, and there's a laundry list of things Trump has said and done that is going to override what you're talking about Biden.
Let's set aside the left and the right. If everybody in the chat can do this as well. I'm talking about looking down the middle, setting aside the fact that maybe you hate conservatives or maybe you hate liberals. I'm talking about looking right down the middle. Was we better off with Trump as president when our gas prices were lower? There were no wars going on. Nobody was shooting rockets over Japan. China wasn't getting ready to invade and go into Shanghai and take that over. Or now that Biden's in there, you got Russia going into Ukraine. We're sending billions upon billions of dollars over there, not knowing where it's going. We have no idea where that money's going. They're saying it's going to help them fight, but we have no idea that. They own him. They have evidence on him. That's why he wanted the prosecutor done away with. Was we better off with Trump? And remember, guys, before Trump ran for president, everybody thought he was the best thing. Even the rappers were making songs about him, how he was so cool. Yeah. As soon as he goes in to run for president, all of a sudden he's a racist. He's going to start a war. That's funny. For the first time, we had no war.
Well, wait a minute. You want to talk about all of a sudden Trump runs for president and people are saying all kinds of crazy shit about him. I don't recall Senator Obama being born in Kenya before he decided to run. I mean, negative things come out about you. I don't recall hearing Senator Hillary Clinton being accused of drinking baby's blood until she decided to run. Binders of women for Mitt Romney as a senator? Never heard of that. I don't know why Trump is so unique.
I've heard of the whole baby blood thing for a long time.
Okay. Did you hear about the born in Kenya thing when he was a senator?
Honestly, no. And to be honest, that never made a difference to me.
Doesn't matter if it made a difference to you or not. Trump was saying it. Where is he getting that from?
I could not tell you the answer to that. I'm not one that's going to sit here and take up for everything that he says. I'm just keeping it, as they say, real. We are a lot better off with Trump as a president instead of paying these outrageous gas prices. The middle class is going to be done away with because it's already to the point where you can't go to the grocery store, $150 worth of food, where you come out with a couple boxes of cereal and some milk.
Well, let me ask you a few things. Trump stated that he wants to give police immunity from prosecution because they need their powers and respect back. Do you think that'll make America great?
No, and I don't think he would actually do that, just like I didn't think he would actually put Hillary in jail. I think more what he's talking about is doing away with a lot of the frivolous lawsuits that, I mean, look, since when have cops been shot so much as now? People have no respect for cops anymore.
How does doing away with frivolous lawsuits equate to police getting respect?
Everybody now can say, oh, this cop mistreated me, or this cop hit me. Now they got to wear body cams and do this and do that. I agree with the whole body cam thing. I think, it only keeps everyone safe. But there is a lot of people that sue for everything.
He didn't say nothing about cops getting sued. He stated he wants to give police immunity from prosecution so they can have respect and their powers back. That's what came out of his mouth. How do you mention African Americans? Do you think African Americans favor that?
I wouldn't. Okay. As a white man, I don't favor that.
Yeah.
No, I don't favor that. But I think if you got into a debate and you ask him what he meant, he's not going to say, they can do whatever they want and they're not going to get punished.
But
I don't think that's what he's talking about.
You could be right, country, but who the hell does that? When Beto O'Rourke yelled out, "You're damn right, I'm going to take your ARs," who's going to get into a debate and let him go ahead and put it in context? You held him accountable for that statement at face value. Trump gets held accountable for saying he wants to give police immunity at face value. We're not going to give him a chance to explain, no more than we gave Beto O'Rourke a chance to explain. We held him accountable. Same thing with defund the police. Nobody wanted to hear context. You said defund the police, you're out.
I love how your chat's going after me. Guys, look, I'm an American. All I'm saying is it is not better out here now. We are not respected around the world. At any time, China could come over here. We've opened the borders up. There's been how many millions and millions? Do you really think the best people that's coming across these countries are sending their best people to us? How come every day you hear about some American getting raped or killed by an illegal immigrant?
Every day?
Just about every day.
That is flat out
every day.
Country. I watch a lot of right-wing media, and I'm willing to concede, I think personally that Biden's doing a shitty job at the border. However, my opinion is you can show what's going on at the border, and the truth should be nice, which I think Trump is doing, talking about they're nothing but rapists and murderers, or what you're saying. Every day that's flat out false. I think you guys are exaggerating when the truth will do.
No, I don't think they're all murderous.
Every day?
Well, let me rephrase that.
It's not even every week.
Seems like to me every day you're hearing about a girl or something getting killed or raped by an illegal person who's already been deported, who is an illegal person in their own country. And how are they getting over here? If they should have been in jail over there, does it not make you think maybe they're just letting them out of jail over there so they don't have to pay for them and send them over here?
See, that's what I'm saying, country, in regards to the exaggeration. I've said this before in the program. If you went to Trump and said, name 5 murder victims that were taken by illegal immigrants, he couldn't do it. The numbers are nowhere near that bad. And by the way, Trump is claiming that 10 million have come under the Biden administration. I'm going to tell you, it's not even 0.0001 that are committing rapes and murders. Now, 1 is too many. Like I said, the truth will do, but he's exaggerating to this astronomical level to the point where it leaves him open for folks to say, show proof. Like you mentioned, every other day, somebody's being raped or murdered by an illegal. I watch a lot of right-wing news. Drive all day with Fox on. They'll plaster that on TV. That's not happening. Nowhere near that.
I'm not in a cult, guys. I'm just telling you the facts. The man that's in there right now can't speak and tie his shoe at the same time. He doesn't know whether he's coming or going. I'm sorry, he's keeping the stairs safe by not falling down them. Do you really think these other countries are saying, oh, we better not mess with America now because Biden might forget? That's exactly what he's going to do, freaking forget.
But wait a minute, when you say other countries, so I'm assuming you think other countries see Biden as a weak leader or something of that nature?
Absolutely. If you don't see Biden as a weak leader, you're not even using a third of your brain.
Well, let me give you the third that I do have in use right now. What about the notion that under the Biden administration, there are literally thousands of Russian soldiers that are dead that would not be had Trump removed all the money from the Ukraine and let Russia overtake it? How does a weak leader have the responsibility for so many dead Russians?
I don't think, here's why I don't think Putin would have went into Ukraine, because Trump had already said this is not happening. Just like he told Kim Jong-un, don't fire any more rockets. My button's bigger than yours. He's just crazy enough that these people will say, you know what, we better back off. I don't think Putin would have went in.
Okay, let's take your example. Under Trump, Putin would have never went in Russia. So let me ask you, right now in 2024, now that Putin has went in Russia and lost thousands of soldiers, lost a lot of equipment and blood and treasure, are they a stronger or weaker country than they were when Trump left office?
Who? Ukraine?
Russia.
Russia? Well, they're going to be stronger because they're going to eventually win.
I'm just right now, with so many soldiers lost, so much equipment lost.
Stronger. They're definitely stronger right
now
than what they were when.
How did they get stronger in the last few years? What did they do to get stronger?
The sanctions have been lifted. Now that Germany is buying gas from them, which they wasn't doing when Trump was under there, because Trump said, "Hey, we You're in NATO. We're protecting you.
You're telling me Trump, a friend of Putin, was imposing sanctions on them?
Listen, there's a difference than acting. See, that's where everybody thinks he's a friend of Putin. All he said was, I have no problem with Putin. Putin's done nothing to me. There's a difference, like you and me, Tim. I don't know you, you don't know me, right?
Right.
But let's say that we were adversaries.
Okay.
And we both had enough nuclear missiles to wipe each other out.
Mutual
If you knew I was a wuss,
if
you knew I was a wuss and wasn't going to do nothing, you would be a bully. But what Trump does is he gives them respect to the public, because that's all they're worried about. As long as they don't look weak to other countries behind closed doors, you're not going to do that.
I gotta vehemently disagree with you on the fact that under Trump, Russia had all of their equipment, all of their soldiers that they've lost under Biden. They were a stronger country under Trump than they are now under Biden, because the Ukrainians have killed so many of them. The idea that they somehow got stronger under Biden, that doesn't make sense to me. And I don't think, and I disagree with you. I disagree with you on the claim that their trading import-export market got stronger under Biden and that somehow Trump was sanctioning them. I've never heard this stuff.
Well, like I said, I'm not a career politician.
Neither am I.
I wish I was. They would all be in jail. Because I think they're all corrupt. I do. They're all corrupt. And the man that's sitting in the presidency right now, this has never happened in the history of our country, is weaponizing our judicial system against a politician, political foe.
But before moving on, do you think his words should have any consequence? You're mentioning that the system is being weaponized against him. Do you think it's okay for him to go from city to city threatening to lock up his adversary in Hillary Clinton? That has never happened before. Are you okay with him doing that to people?
I'm not okay with him. Well, he did it to one person.
Over and over again.
But that one person should have been locked up.
That ain't got nothing to do with what he was talking about. You don't get to go for you admitting that is wrong. So what about him suggesting that?
Actually, it was the crowds that was chanting "lock her up."
Come on now. You know he could have easily stopped that. You know he was egging that on.
Yeah, let me tell you something. You're a boxer and you're beating the dog crap out of somebody, and you're okey doking around, and the crowd is cheering for you. You're not going to say, "Let me stop this right now."
They're not cheering. They're not cheering for you. They're cheering out something that's unconstitutional. You don't have a right to lock her up. She hasn't been convicted of a crime.
But they don't. You also don't have the right to say he can't say it. It's a First Amendment right, freedom of speech.
No,
she didn't get locked up.
Okay.
He didn't go after her. He didn't lock her up.
So because he didn't violate her constitutional rights, it's okay to talk about doing it, though.
Is that not what Biden's doing?
And you're calling it wrong, but you're not calling it wrong when Trump was doing it.
No, Biden is more than saying it. He's actually...
But I'm asking you that question. Even at the saying it level, was it wrong for Trump to do that?
To say it? No, you have a First Amendment right. When we take away one... Mr. Tim, when you take away one right from our amendments, the politicians never stop at one. You give them one thing, they're going to take another. You give them this, they're going to take another, until they eventually control everything that we do. We cannot give up any rights. As bad as they may look on the surface, we can't give up any rights.
So let me ask you this question as clear as day. Do you believe it is okay for a presidential contender to threaten that he is going to lock up his opponent? Do you think that is okay to do? Even though it's First Amendment protected, do you think that's okay?
I do not think it's okay.
Okay, well, he was doing that. You said Trump is dealing with things that has never happened before in history. That did not happen in this country between any other president. That was a first.
Do you agree with me or not, Mr. Tim, that saying something, or more or less the crowd saying something, and then not actually doing it is way better than actually putting people in place who ran on the fact saying we're going to put him in jail? And that's exactly what they're trying to do right now.
In my opinion, going from city to city talking about you're liking Hillary Clinton, you're running on doing that. You're doing the same thing. That's because you didn't do it. You're running a campaign that suggests if you elect me, I'm going to lock somebody up. He's no different than Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, and those who ran a campaign that said, if you vote me in, I'm going to lock up Trump. He was doing that. People voted for him, honestly voted for him, because they believed he was going to lock Hillary Clinton up. He did that.
I didn't vote for him for that reason. I voted
We're
for him.
not talking about you. We're talking about millions of Americans, not you.
I don't believe that was. I have to disagree with you on that, Mr. Tim. I don't think that was the full purpose for people voting for him. People are sick and tired of these people that's been in Washington for 30, 35, 40, 50 years who's not done a darn thing to help anything out.
Do you think liking, you said you don't think it was all of it. Do you think liking Hillary Clinton was part of his campaign?
No, I don't think it was part of his campaign. No. I don't think it was part of his campaign. I believe when he went to the rallies, people said it and he let it go on. Do I think that's right? No, he probably should have shut that down. But he ran on making America great again.
But he never to clear this up, you're saying he never ran a campaign on locking up Hillary Clinton. Never did that.
I don't think that was his premise. No, I think that came out in the debate when she was saying it's a good thing you're not in control of the laws. He said, yeah, because you'd be in jail.
And the people, and so his supporters in damn near every city yelling lock her up was just doing that with no thought that this guy is running, that if he does win, he's going to do what we want. They never thought that.
I don't know what they thought.
Every city he's going to, they're yelling lock her up. And he wasn't running on that.
I can't speak for their thoughts, Tim. I'm not God. I can't speak for their thoughts.
All right, I got to move it on. Fair enough. We can agree to disagree. You're always welcome back.
Thank you, sir. You have a good day.
You too, country. Appreciate it. Looking in the comments, though, someone asked, Jim Klein asked why the hat. You are against him. Get rid of the hat, bro. That is deception. You are lying. Well, let me make it clear, and I do appreciate the comment. I've said this before a million times, but you're obviously probably a newer viewer, and I appreciate you being here. I strongly believe, despite my politics, I strongly believe that Republicans, conservatives, and particularly MAGA do not get a fair shake in the media. Oftentimes when they speak, out come the censors, they're blocked, banned. You hear me promising I don't do that on this program. So the purpose of the hat, despite my politics, is to let folks know the program is and always will be MAGA friendly. Been that way all 3 years since we've been on. We don't moderate, we don't block, ban, or censor MAGA in any way. Europeans will always be respected here. If we disagree, we disagree. That's how it should be. But we do believe you should be allowed to speak. So the hat is to let MAGA know when you come here, your family, you can speak. Nobody's going to try to censor your language. It's just the way it is. So that's the purpose of the hat. Looking in the comments, though, thank you. They never tell the truth about Trump, says AR-15, bang, bang. Let me just say this in regards to they never tell the truth about Trump. I always have an issue when, and I hate to use this term, I know my beloved MAGA's not going to like this, but I always have this issue when a victimizer is claiming to be victim. The idea that they never tell the truth about Trump. Trump has said a lot of lies about stuff. Trump has said a lot of things that he said Obama was recording him while he was in the White House. No evidence was ever presented about that. Not to mention Obama being born in Kenya, never presented any evidence about. I mean, I could go down a laundry list of things Trump has said. Right now, he's calling the judge in this case, right now, that convicted him yesterday, the most corrupt judge in New York. You'll never find evidence of that. The guy's been around for 20 plus years on the bench. Where's the evidence that he is the most corrupt judge in New York? And before that judge, it was Judge Engoron in the Letitia James case. He was the most corrupt judge. And then I believe it was a judge in E. Jean Carroll's case before that. So I understand your claim that a lot of things have been said bad about Trump, but you got to understand, Trump says a lot of things about other people and evidence never comes forward. Everybody from Ruby Freeman and her mom, Dominion, the company Dominion voting, there's no evidence of any of this stuff. Just say, whoa, alter ego. Thank you. Whoa, thank you. You caught me off guard with that. I mean, so, like I said, I hate to have somebody that is victimizing others saying, I'm being a victim now. He says a lot of shit and does not back it up with evidence. A lot of things. I mean, we're still hearing that Black Lives Matter tried to tear down the Capitol building on January 6th. Where's the evidence? Is it wrong to ask for that? Looking in the comments, it was a fair trial in 34 counts, but he definitely got 34. Definitely that. Obama was born in Haiti. That came from Michael something, the truth spitter. I like the name. Michael Kunkel. Well, where's the evidence? I'm going to ask you that same thing like I always ask folks when you say these statements. Where's the evidence? Going back to the box. Born in Haiti, huh? Shit. You think Obama, he's pro-black on a lot of it. You think he would deny his own heritage if he was born in Haiti? I think he would be claiming that. I think he would certainly be claiming that. And I don't think his mom would have named him, what is his middle name, Hussein, from Haiti? Really? How many Husseins are walking around the streets of Haiti? Yikes. Going back to the box, I don't know what that says, SMIB. I don't think it says Simba, but good afternoon. It does say Simba. Simba, good afternoon.
How we doing?
I'm doing good. So 34 counts, all felonies. What say you?
I think, honestly, I don't think he should have been found guilty.
Railroaded?
I think the venue should have been changed.
Why?
Because,
Why?
Why? Because in where that it was held in New York, 86% was a Democratic.
I get you. So let me ask you, the Jack Smith case down in Miami where the judge is operating that he appointed, do you think she should be taken off the case? You think it should be taken out of Miami? That case is in the red area.
I do not know much about that case. I'm honestly...
Okay, well, let me enlighten you. That case down in Miami, the documents case, because the judge is a Trump appointee and it's in the red area, do you believe that should be also changed in venue? Take your time.
Honestly, now is the judge. Now, can I ask a question about that?
Sure. He appointed her, so she would not have that job if it wasn't for him. What's your question?
Now, is the judge down there? Is it he or she?
She. It's a female.
It's a female.
Yeah.
Is she part of her or her family part of the RNC or the DNC?
Simba, he gave her the damn job. He hired her. You know she's at least a Republican. He hired her. He appointed her.
Then it should be a change of venue.
Okay. All right. We're getting somewhere. So you do believe that in that case then, if you believe that in New York, the odds are against him, you believe down there in Miami, the odds are in his favor.
So I'm all about a fair justice system.
Okay. So you do believe what's happening in Miami may be unfair to a free and fair case. In other words, the prosecution may be in his favor.
Yeah. Then it should be changed.
All right. Now, you notice he's not asking for that, though. So, once again, because he's not asking for that, does that lead you to believe that maybe he's not in favor of fairness when it's in his favor?
Then the prosecution needs to ask for a change of venue.
Yeah, but do you believe Trump himself is in favor of fairness? Or is he just trying to win?
I think he's trying to swindle his way.
Oh, that's a strong word. You think Trump is a swindler?
I think most businessmen are.
But I was told by my beloved MAGA that we need a businessman to run this country. Are you saying that we're trying to vote for a swindler to lead this nation? That's a con man, ain't it? Thank you for that. Go ahead.
I think, yes, businessmen are smart, but they know the tax codes and they know stuff like that and how to get in and out of things.
Swindle. I heard the word swindle, though.
And they try to swindle their way in and out of things.
So you see Trump as somebody who's known for trying to swindle his way in and out of things.
Yeah.
Does that make you respect him more?
It's not effective if I respect him or not. That's not the reason I'm going to vote for him.
But you don't mind voting for somebody that you're referring to as a swindler?
I'm going to vote for him because of it's more on the aspect of we need somebody again, and out of less of the two evils between Joe Biden and Trump, I believe that Trump is more for the American people than what Joe Biden is.
Now, you did refer, while picking Trump out, you did refer to him as the lesser of two evils. So is it safe to assume you don't see Trump as a good candidate either? He's just better than Biden.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of the 9 other candidates, Vivek, Chris Christie, the governor of North Dakota, Nikki Haley, was any of them more desirable to you?
None of them.
None of them.
I wanted, my person got out of, the person I've actually wanted to run for president got out of politics. Trey Gowdy.
Really?
Yeah. But he was going to be a Supreme Court justice, and he told them to go fuck themselves.
But you think that what you calling Trump a swindler and the lesser of two evils, out of those 9 folks, he's better than all of them? Would you giving Trump those titles?
I think he knows more, and he's been there. And with how our country is divided.
How do you respond to folks who might suggest a lot of the division is because of him?
Our division was even before him.
Let me ask it to you this way. Okay, the division was before him. Let's say Obama divided the hell out of the country. Once Trump got in office, do you believe he made a decent effort to unite us from the division he inherited? Do you see him trying to unite the country?
No.
Okay, so
I think it's separate. It even put a bigger divide in us because there was so much hatred the day that he got elected. Okay.
Why do you think that is? You're basically saying he was hated from day one. Now, we know Trump has a history where African Americans in media personnel, you name Hollywood, they liked Trump. So what happened to the point where the moment he got elected, people hated him? Why do you think that happened?
Because he knows the thing that how I feel and why they're going after him is
Jordan, thank you.
He knows their dirty little secrets. Okay.
Why don't we know him? He's been in office for 4 years. He promised to drain the swamp, but yet you're letting me know that he's still keeping secrets on people. Why didn't he reveal it if his job was to drain the swamp? Why is he still keeping that stuff?
I don't know why he's still keeping them.
Is he helping out America by not telling us the dirty little secrets on people that might be valuable to us? If they're corrupt or they're harming kids or young people or whatever, how much value to the American public is it if Trump just keeps it in his head?
Well, I think if he actually, my honest opinion is, I think if he brings them out, they'll take him right to, what's that prison, for terrorists.
You talking about Guantanamo Bay?
Yeah.
So then what's the purpose of even bringing up that he knows stuff on people if he's never going to reveal it?
So it's just the way I feel. I don't know.
Okay. Why not Vivek, Ron DeSantis? I mean, you're telling me Trump knows things and all this, but you're then admitting he's not even going to share with anybody, which means the knowledge is of no value. It's like me being trapped on an island with you. You know how to start a fire, but if you don't tell me, your ass ain't no good. So what's the purpose of going with Trump if he's not going to share some of the things you find to be most valuable?
I think a lot of people see how Trump is getting screwed over, so that's why they like him. And I'm not talking the true MAGA supporters. I'm talking the everyday, goes to work, comes home, their families. That's why they can relate so much to him,
So you're saying that you do believe Trump support is growing because he's getting screwed over by the system?
Yes, I do.
Let me ask you this. What do you think of Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi?
Nancy Pelosi, I think she's been there way too long.
If she ran for president, would you vote for her?
I'd have to see how she. I don't know much about her.
You don't know
I don't know much about her views.
Okay, give me a liberal you're not a fan of, other than Biden.
A liberal. Whitmer.
Governor Whitmer of Michigan. So if she ran for president, would you vote for her?
No.
Why not?
Why not? Because she told us she was going to do something here in Michigan, and she never did it.
So let me ask you this. Let's say Governor Whitmer of Michigan was running for president, and during her campaign, she was charged with several major felonies that you yourself, Simba, was 1,000% sure were all bullshit and she didn't do it. What are the chances that you knowing her being railroaded by the system would make you potentially vote for her now?
Because I would stand up for that she needed to have at least a fair legal justice system.
But would you vote for her for president?
Maybe.
You would vote for, even though she goes completely against everything you just said, you would vote for her simply because the system was mistreating her.
But the thing is she's a career politician.
That ain't what I'm asking you, though. You would vote for somebody simply because the system was railroading them.
That's not the reason I'm simply voting for Trump.
I'm asking you that question, though. What would make you think people would go against their principles? Trump's pro-life, maybe somebody's pro-choice. Trump believes in giving police immunity, or he's certainly talking about it. Maybe other people believe that's crazy. You think him being railroaded by the system is going to make people totally forget why they vote and just go with somebody who's running against everything they disagree with simply because the system is after them?
Thing you have to remember, you got a lot of people that are in their 40s to mid 50s right now, full generation, okay, that were raised to not worry about politics, okay?
Who the hell raises their child to not worry? Who does that?
There's a lot of people out there that did that, okay? And to really just worry about themselves, worry, you know, and now they have been woke up to what the government's doing.
No, I don't. Let me interrupt you by saying this. In regards to being woke up about what the government's doing, I got to tell you from my own personal analysis, Trump is making a lot of claims with little to no evidence. The FBI is corrupt, the NSA is corrupt, the CIA is corrupt, but he's not providing any evidence. Is that really waking people up? No, it's just you telling people.
Okay, now I have a question.
Sure.
Who you go on TikTok after you're done, right?
No, I'm on YouTube and TikTok right now as we speak, and so are you.
No, I'm talking when you're done. You scroll through your TikTok.
Yes, yeah, I do. Yeah, I get your point. Yeah, I do.
Get my point? Now, I have a question. What do you see on your feed all day long?
Depends on your For You page. Sometimes I see ass and titties. What do you mean?
You're seeing what has been on the last 2 to 3 weeks?
Trump's going to jail.
Besides yesterday, you've seen Gen X, that generation I've been telling you about.
Yeah.
Okay, we were raised, okay, to not care about politics, to worry about our house, our families, work hard, okay?
I don't buy it. Wait, what age group is Gen X?
We were from 1960 to 1985.
That's
1980.
That's probably the group that's most likely to vote. Those are the old 1960 to 95. I don't think it's that wide, is it?
It's 65 to 80.
Okay. So I'm in that group.
Yeah, there's a lot of us that don't vote.
That is true. But what's your point?
Okay. And there's 84 million of us in just the United States.
What's your point? They're voting now, though. People tend to be more focused on politics as they age. Our group is probably going to be one of the largest groups that vote this time.
Yep.
So
my first time voting, okay, will be this year.
Well, let me say this in regards to your comment. I give Trump credit for this more than any other president that I know in my lifetime. Hell, even more any politician that I know in my lifetime. Trump is going to be responsible, whether you love him or hate him, for bringing more people to the polls than anybody we've ever known. So even if you're raised not to vote, Trump is doing and saying so many things. This is where people didn't normally vote because presidents were like Biden, where you don't hear from them very often. Trump is constantly on TV attacking someone. This ain't right. This is out to get me. This is bad for America. You can't trust. He is attacking so many people that he is infuriating folks to either vote for him or against him. So you're going to have a lot of turnout this time.
Oh, yeah. And and that's the thing. I don't believe everything that comes out of Trump's mouth.
That's bad. That's bad.
You know, because everybody in politics, they'll say one thing and they mean half of it might be true and the other half might be like,
what? But I'm asking you the same question I've asked dozens and dozens of folks that support Trump. What happened to we voted Trump in because he's not a typical politician. He's an outsider. He's not an elite. He's not a Washington insider. Every time he does something wrong, but they all do it. I mean, he's constantly getting caught in stuff, and folks are using, well, all politicians do that as a defense. Didn't we vote him in because we didn't want that?
I think people voted him in because he was an outsider.
And now he is obviously an insider using all the same tactics.
I don't know if he's using all the same tactics. He's not a career politician.
Obama was not a career politician. That didn't stop folks from accusing him. He wasn't a career politician either.
Was he?
He was a senator for 2 years.
For Illinois.
For 2 years. That's it. And then he became president. He only has 2 more years of political experience than Trump did when he took president. That ain't life.
No. So I'm just, telling you how I feel. I can't,
Hey, anytime. We don't listen. At the end of the day, we don't have to agree on a damn thing. You're never going to get talked down to. I will move it on, Simba. You're always welcome back. Understand
I watch you every day, so.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Come on back anytime. Looking in the comments, and thank you, Simba. Wait, bro, who doesn't know how FYP worked? A lot of people don't name. A lot of people don't know how the For You page works on TikTok. But I did explain it. And thank you for your super chat twice over. Y'all got to stop trying to push this narrative that people are seeing what he's dealing with and supporting someone who's against their own agenda. I could not state that more properly. I cannot state that any more accurately than that. I think that folks who are suggesting that Trump's interaction with the court system, whether it's positive or negative, like what happened yesterday, is growing in support. No, I believe that what's happening to Trump, let's say you went down for a crime you didn't commit and your mom showed up to help you out or whatever. Your relationship with your mom is going to be stronger because she knows her son or daughter is being railroaded by the system. That don't mean your support's growing. What it is doing is strengthening your support from those who love you. That is what's happening to Trump. I just disagree with the notion that people are coming to the Trump camp because they believe he's being wrongfully treated by the system. No, it's growing the love he has from people that were already going to support him. That's what I believe. Look in the comments, though. And thank you, Green Screen Kid. Appreciate that. Thank you, Green Screen Kid, for the donation on YouTube. 34 felonies is crazy. Yeah, it is. It is crazy. What happened to Trump is just what God wanted to happen. Jesus, you think God wanted Trump? I went to a Trump rally, been about 6 months ago now. And when, you're in line, these 4 or 5 hour lines I was in, waiting to go to a Trump gathering. I'm in line with everybody from the likes of folks who look like QAnon shaman to folks wrapped in Trump garb. I had a guy tell me, Trump, to my face, Trump was appointed by God. So there is a lot of folks that believe the deity had something to do with Trump being in office. This is the first time I heard somebody say that Trump got it convicted because of God. I'm going to go back to the box, but I'll tell you, even though I'm not very religious, grew up that way, but I'm not as much now. I don't believe God would really give a damn about U.S. politics. There's 180 countries on earth. We're one of the richest damn countries on earth. He gonna focus on us? While you got other folks starving to death, getting bombed to death in Gaza and shit like that. Kids with bloated stomachs so they have no food in Africa. But he gonna be concerned with what's going on in America, the country that's kind of responsible for a lot of that shit, if you go back in history far enough. If God is focused on America and letting everybody else live in famine, I don't know if I'd be a big fan of God. I don't know. That one's interesting. Let me go back to the box, though. Continuing on, God is worried about us. Isn't there a song, God is watching us or something like that? George Spin, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. God has his hand watching over. What did it say? God bless America? Or no, God bless us and no one else or something like that. Americans are really narcissistic. I learned that living overseas. We'll get a box in a moment to come in. I used to live in Australia, which is one of our biggest allies. Australia is the only country on earth that has been on our side in every single war. Because you know the Revolutionary War, we were fighting against the British. So they've been on our side in every single war. And even, I used to get folks, I was a bouncer in the clubs for a while, like, man, y'all are narcissistic as hell. Why do you think you're the only country free? And they sitting there, same shit. House, picket fence, cars, can live. Why do you guys think y'all got some kind of patent on freedom? I didn't have an answer for that. This says, Amandro, thank you for that subscription. Appreciate that. I want to make sure I got the name right. Amandro de la Vega. Or is that De La Vega? De La Vega. Amandro de la Vega. Appreciate the subscription. Thank you. I don't think anybody's gonna do anything. It doesn't matter what they do to Trump. So you're suggesting that if Trump is thrown in for a serious bid, a la January 6th choir, where he gets double-digit football numbers, you don't believe there's any chance of civil unrest? Interesting. I think that Trump would call for it. Maybe there wouldn't be, and hopefully there wouldn't be, but I do believe that if Trump went down hard, he would call for folks to do some, break me out of here. Go Suge Knight. Get me the fuck out of here. Going back to the box. Stick the ruler. Appreciate you holding on, Stick. God gives us free will. He doesn't put leaders in place, but he allows us to do that, good or bad. That is probably historically accurate. If you look at the likes of Hitler and Stalin, all the way up to Mother Teresa, God allows us to put in some pretty nice people or some really fucked up leaders. I agree with that, which is why I'm not very religious anymore, because I don't believe that, kind of being candid here, but I don't believe that if you pray to God, it's going to affect your life on earth in any way, fashion, or form. I don't think, I just look around, I'm watching a bird eating another animal earlier. Wow! Appreciate the fireworks and the hat. Yeah! Thank you for that, DJ Julio. And certainly those fireworks. Wow, thank you. I look around, you see animals eating other animals. So why would he design a world where the only way you can eat is to kill something else? Now, talk about not being pro-life. All of my shit survives by killing other pieces of my shit. I don't know. I just think about it like that. You've gotten older and sometimes you're sitting there having these conversations with yourself, and I don't even smoke marijuana, but I can only imagine if I did. But I've had these conversations like, damn, you created a planet where the only way you can survive is to eat other shit that's simply trying to survive. Yikes. Handsome, you are MAGA, says Theodomus Brown, I think that says. If I'm MAGA, why the hell do I get so many liberals? Well, I get liberals calling me an Uncle Tom, a Sambo sellout, but then I get the right calling me a libtard. MAGA, huh? Okay, all right, fair enough. Going back to the box. I get called every damn thing. I got thick skin. Appreciate it. We'll continue on. The box is problematic. We'll try it again with PT Car Wash. Good afternoon. Let me see if this works. Welcome to the program. 34 felony counts. PT, what say you?
Well, it is what it is. I'm a lifelong Republican. And
what about MAGA though? What is her name? Liz Cheney is a lifelong Republican. Are you MAGA?
But if Trump didn't run or he did run, it wouldn't bother me either way. In fact, the only thing that I'm concerned about in this whole thing is now what's going to stop Greg Abbott from bringing charges against Democrats for possible crimes that they may have committed, and then right before an election.
Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, what has happened in his state that would allow him to bring charges? What are you talking about?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying there are investigators that follow these people all over the place. But instead of charging people with crimes, what they actually do is they use it as, information to expose them in a campaign to make them look bad. But now these things are actual crimes. What you may see is governors of different states charging Democrats as well now. High-ranking Democrats may start going to jail for stuff, because now nobody's afraid to do it.
Well, let me just say this. If Democrats are committing actual crimes that's on the books, maybe they should go to jail. I mean, like Trump said, he's going to drain the swamp and expose corruption. If the corruption is high-level Democrats committing crimes and getting away with it, then do something about it. Just like in this case, it looks like Trump, a high-level Republican, was committing a crime and got away with it, and they decided to charge him. So it is what it is.
Well, I mean, it seems on the surface that it's a crime, whether or not it's a misdemeanor or a felony. I think that's really what's up to question. I think that Trump has a lot of ammunition going into an appeals court. At best, I don't think he might spend at best.
Happy 2024. Thank you. Go ahead.
I think maybe a week. I mean, he might go to jail for a couple of nights. Who knows? But
I don't think that's good. Go ahead. Keep going.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is that it just seems like to me this is going to make him into a martyr. And if he gets out of jail or he doesn't spend any time in jail and he's able to continue the campaign, he's going to win the election because he's going to say Democrats locked me up for no good reason.
Now, hang on. I want to interrupt you because you get these little tickers on your phone. It said something about Judge something on X. Did the judge out of that case? Because we know Trump has violated the gag order. Somebody let me know in the comments if the judge has said something. But so in your case, though, when you're saying that Trump's going to become a martyr, there, PT, I don't, a martyr for people that are already going to vote for him. Maybe so, but I don't think it's going to make folks who believe in pro-choice or common sense gun legislation or tuition forgiveness. I don't believe it's going to make any of them vote for Trump.
No, but I mean, look, did you read what Alan Dershowitz read? And which is not a fan of Trump at all, hates the guy. But he's a constitutional lawyer, and he's the one that brought this concept up. He said, we've let the cat out of the bag. Now that we can just do something like this and it is, I do think it's kind of shady, making these misdemeanor crimes that have already expired into felonies. I just don't think they'll hold up in the appeals court. And all it did was just basically rally people to his cause and make him a martyr. And that's not my opinion. That's Democrats' opinion.
That is a Democrat's opinion. I mean, I get your point. I mean, just like...
He's pretty smart.
Yeah, well, so is Liz Cheney, and her opinion is that Trump is a criminal. I mean, I get your point. We can find people.
At the end of the day, I can't say whether or not he did or didn't do what he did. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But the fact of the matter is, I just don't believe it was a felony. I think they had to go through a lot of legal hoops to make it, and I don't think it will survive the appeals process. And then you had the judge himself. He did a lot of shady stuff. He put his own career at risk and his own opinions at risk by the things that he ruled on during the whole
Let me just say something, by the way. In the comments, folks are saying Alan Dershowitz, certainly, I don't know his politics, even saying he represented Trump, certainly disagreeing with you that he's a Democrat.
Over freedom of speech, yeah, he did.
All right, then he's likely not a Democrat then.
Oh, he is a Democrat. He just is a constitutional scholar, and he did represent him not as a lead counsel, but as one of those a counsel, and it was over. What was that? Whether or not he had something to do with January 6th.
I'd have to look it up. I can't speak on it. I'll plead ignorance on that, but I will tell you this. In regards to you saying that, Trump, what happened to Trump with the felonies, it opens up the door to other things. Here's what I don't get. You got the head of the Inquirer testifying, National Inquiry, testifying that he's still a friend of Trump's. They just haven't spoken in a while, and openly admitting that they were working with the Trump administration via Michael Cohen to release stories that were either positive of Trump or negative of his adversaries, up to and including Ted Cruz's dad killed President Kennedy. That came out of the National Enquirer. And Trump started using this crazy made-up story at rallies. I mean, he was indeed trying to use at least one media outlet unfairly to work to his advantage. We're all grocery shopping. National Enquirer sitting right there, and it's got all these false stories that are pro-Trump. You don't see anything wrong with that?
Well, I mean, ethically, I do. I don't necessarily think it rises to a felony.
No, we can debate that. You got a good point. We can debate that. But it does show something about Trump's ethics, that he would use the media to skew an election, which is what he was charged with. You just think it wasn't a felony, but that is what he was doing, is using a media outlet, the same thing they're charging Biden with, suggesting that the FBI squashed stories for Biden. They worked with Facebook. They worked with the former X that was known as Twitter in favor of Biden to squash stories. That's exactly what Trump just got convicted of.
Well, if it was a crime and it was wrong, why didn't the FCC go after him?
Show proof. Well, it's not going to work right.
Aren't they in charge of elections?
No, but I was going to tell you that may actually happen, but it's not likely they're going to pursue him while he's president. Just like if Trump gets elected, all of these charges go away. You don't expect him to go after him while he's in office, do you?
Let me ask you this, and this is really to the heart of how I feel about all of it. Is, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Trump, no. However, if he gets elected, even if he is running the country behind, bars, right, which is
That's
silly as that
crazy.
sounds, right? It's a possibility he could still win this election no matter what, and how's that going to make our country look, one? And two, what do you think he is going to do once he has the power?
Well, if he's supposed to be a good leader for this country, he shouldn't be on a mission. If he gets in office, as you're alluding to, and he starts taking upon a mission of revenge, that shows he's really no better than the people he's criticizing. He's just waiting for his chance to do it.
But like you said, if they are true crimes, they should go to prison. So that's all I'm saying.
I'm fine. Listen,
probably quite a few of these guys that go their whole political career never get arrested for anything because of who they are, and now that's no longer going to happen. And people are going to go back 30 years and start accusing people of things and trying to lock them up. And all I'm just saying is like I don't agree that people should be able to commit crimes and get away with it. However, doing it right before an election or to stop someone from running in an election just for that purpose only, I find that very unethical.
I'm just simply telling you, if Trump gets in office and does all of the things you're saying that is wrong now, then he's just like it. I mean,
I agree, and I agree with you. And that's his personality. He probably will do that exact same thing.
Then maybe he's the wrong guy to put in there. Then maybe we need to.
Maybe he is. All I'm saying is there's a possibility, even if the guy goes to jail, there's a possibility he will still be president.
That ain't gonna happen.
And if he is president, what do you think's gonna happen?
I do believe that, the claims that Trump is a martyr and his support is growing, if he's actually actively sitting behind bars, my guess is that's going to drop. You're going to vote for a dude that really doesn't legally have the ability to have security clearances, cannot see classified documents because he's a multiple felon, and he's in jail? What are they going to do? Put a skiff in the cell next to him, a secured facility in a cell next to? At some point, I'm going to expect that Trump supporters are going to be like, maybe not.
He is entitled to that for life, no matter if he's in prison or not. And I know it sounds silly. It does sound real silly.
It does.
But at the end of the day, he can have it. And all I know is that at the end of the day, this should have been a misdemeanor crime. He should have and if it was just a misdemeanor, he could have fought it. And okay, it was a misdemeanor. He pays a little fine, adios. He's guilty of a misdemeanor. But to raise this up to a level of a felony, it's not going to stand. It's going to get overturned. And all it did.
But you would say that about a misdemeanor as well. Even if they left it at a misdemeanor, you would still be saying it's going to appeal and it's going to get overturned. And you would be saying it was wrong to do it then. Why are you messing around with the tax? Hold on. Why are you messing around with all of the taxpayers' money to go after this guy for a bunch of misdemeanors? You would still be complaining about that.
Not necessarily. I think everybody who commits a crime should face that crime. What I'm saying is, I think that this is like throwing somebody in prison for life for selling a joint.
He's not going to prison for life. He might do a month or two. He can do Black Lives. He can do Black History Month in jail or something. It's only gonna be about a month.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. A year from now, did we create a monster? Possibly. That's all I'm saying.
I think when I looked at January 6th, I would have said that. I mean, you're talking about create a monster now because he got a few felonies after the damn Capitol building was over. I think we could have been said that. I got to move it on, though, PT.
Yes, sir.
Good talk. Day, sir. Good talk. Bye-bye. Anytime. Looking in the comment section, I will say this. In the idea that a president can run for office while in jail, I've said this on a number of other broadcasts, but I will bring it up this time as well. I believe that once Trump is out of the political sphere, meaning that he served a second term after winning in November, or he lost in November, he's no longer going to run again, or God forbid he passes on, or whatever the case may be, there will end up being some anti-Trump laws that come down the pipe. When I say anti-Trump laws, I mean Trump has pushed the envelope in ways that, in my opinion, and you guys can tell me where I'm wrong, I invite dissenting opinion all the time. But I believe that Trump has pushed the envelope in ways that the Founding Fathers never imagined. And had they imagined it, it would not have been legal to do it in the beginning. Here's what I'm talking about. 88 charges, you can still run for president. You can't get a job at McDonald's if you're facing 88 felony charges. You know, listen, I want to be a burger flipper for your company. I have never been convicted of a crime, but can I borrow an extra sheet for my application? Because I do have to list the charges I'm in, I got to deal with. So I don't have any charges, convictions, but I do have 88 cases coming up. They wouldn't hire you as a burger flipper. So I do believe in all of these, this is 5 of these, I believe, 5 anti-Trump laws that are coming down the pipe. And when I say coming down the pipe, I mean bipartisan. These are things that, had we had this discussion 10 years ago, before Trump was on the scene, before Hillary Clinton was on the scene, everybody in Washington would have agreed with this stuff I'm talking about. Number one, a presidential candidate with dozens of felony charges. I think both sides would have agreed we can't let that person run until those cases are adjudicated. Now, Trump is on the ballot. A lot of folks want Trump to win. I get that. So right now, nobody's going to agree to this shit. 10 years in the future, I think you'll get bipartisan support. So number one, you can't run for president if you got a host of felonies you are facing until we adjudicate them. Particularly in Trump's case, because some of them are like espionage related. The documents case, it's kind of espionage. Let's find out first if you're an actual damn spy before giving you access to more documents. I think 10 years ago, everybody would have agreed with that, but Trump is running for president. So number one, they're not going to agree with now. Number two, you can't be a felon and president simultaneously. Simple as that. I think 10 years ago, once again, everybody would have agreed with that, considering you can't be a felon in a lot of places and own a gun. You can't vote. Most places are considered, they're going to be skeptical of even hiring you, as I said, even as a burger flipper. So number two, you can't be felon. You can't be a convicted felon and run for office. 10 years from now, you'll get bipartisan support. Once again, these are anti-Trump laws, so his name is going to come up. He's the only person that tried to do this shit. Number three, you damn sure cannot be incarcerated while running the nation's highest office. Right now, folks are like, I'd vote for this man even if he's in jail. 10 years ago, what the hell are you even asking a question like that for? 10 years in the future, bipartisan support, no president can be in jail and run the country. I think you'll get bipartisan support on both sides. Number four, once again, the Founding Fathers never thought of this shit. Trump's showing us that there's a little bit of weakness in the system. Number four, if If you are convicted of committing a major crime while serving the nation's highest office, you can't pardon yourself. You don't get the right to actually exonerate yourself of what you did. God forbid, what did you do, sell a nuclear bomb to Iran and decide, well, I'm not going to jail for it? Once again, 10 years in the future, everybody will agree with that. They never expected it to be an issue. Last but not least, number 5. Secret Service protection, pensions, all of that shit. If you are a police officer, fire department, any other civil service worker, military, and you commit a crime while you are in office or have the job or enlisted, you lose all of your future benefits, pension, Secret Service protection, medical care. It happens to the chief of police on down to your average garbage man. If you do something wrong while you're in office, you lose all that shit. We're talking 34 felonies and he still has Secret Service protection. Once again, as I stated, once Trump is out of office, bipartisan support. You would have folks on the right, if this was Hillary Clinton, saying, why the hell should the taxpayers be taking care of a felon? But we support Trump right now, so we'll overlook it. 10 years from now, bipartisan support on all 5 of these. 10 years ago, bipartisan support on all of these. And now when I say bipartisan, I don't think there would hardly be anyone in Washington that would vote against these rules or these proposed. This will come out. By the way, I meant to do a show. I meant to bring it up on the show yesterday. I don't have it right now in front of me with my notes, but there is a anti-Trump bill on the law already. Anti-Trump and anti-Biden, because Biden did this shit too. I think it's Katie Porter and a representative from Kentucky, a far right representative from Kentucky and a far left representative. Where's Katie Porter from? I can't think of it right now. Is it Cali? Wherever, but they're passing a bill now. It's called the Presidential Transparency Reform Act or something like that. Yeah, Cali. Where far left, far right, they're trying to propose a bill where any presidential contender has to show their taxes 2 years before you ran, the time you're in office, and 2 years after you leave. You'll have to, by law, report any gift you receive of $10,000 or more from any foreign. Why this shit got to be law now? It's crazy that wasn't law before. But this is more anti-Trump stuff coming. Because remember, Trump never showed his taxes. I gave you 5. That one they're already working on. And when I say bipartisan, far left, Katie Porter is fairly to the left. And that representative from Kentucky, whose name I can't think of, is fairly far to the right. And they're coming up with bipartisan shit. And he's still around right now. So this stuff is coming down the pipe, but it will be in the future. And I see in the comments, Ash says, sounds fair to me. I don't think anybody should view this stuff as unfair, other than the fact that you just believe Trump has the best plan for America, the best direction, so you want him back in. But Felon being in office, pardoning himself, running the country from jail, that should sound fair to you. Everyone should sound fair to you. How does the box work? Moran on YouTube asks, thank you for the super chat. The show's coming from TikTok. The show originates from TikTok. You request, and all of my callers you're hearing coming from are on TikTok. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you folks. 196,000. Wow, a little bit more tapping the screen. You might get me to 200. I don't think I've ever had 200,000 likes on a program. So I do appreciate your support. Tapping the screen on TikTok, almost 200,000 likes. Wow. Amazing. I definitely want to show nothing but gratitude for you folks that have been tapping the screen and get me up to nearly 200,000. That's amazing. Nevertheless, it is indeed an uncensored program. Over 200,000. Shit. Nevertheless, it is an uncensored program. 1 p.m. Central, 1300 hours, Monday through Friday is where you'll find us. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. Don't have to agree with anyone in the comments or even the host. We believe in free speech. It is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Follow the program. Subscribe if you will. On YouTube, Alter Ego. Thank you for the support. Alter Ego with the subscription. Thank you, Alter Ego, an old girl for the heart. You guys have made my Friday faceless. Thank you. Appreciate that. So anyway, 34 counts. Wow. We'll see what happens. We'll certainly be talking. It is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Catch you later. And for my YouTubers, certainly always appreciate the support as well. It is your boy. Feel free to subscribe to the channel on my YouTube side. Catch you later.